thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hit your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. They let you down, but you get up. They let you drown, but you don't stop. You show 'em you're a phoenix.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 10 deadline stream. Once this game week is over, we're a quarter of the way through the season officially. Only 3 quarters left to go. Only 6 months left to go. 7, I guess, actually, because we're only just into November. 7 months and it'll all be over. What a great positive start to the deadline stream. 7 months. This pain, this misery, these red arrows, these constant headaches, the terrible decisions. It'll all be over. It'll all be over. So we've got that to look forward to. Otherwise, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed your slightly later deadline today. I am rolling the other 2 transfers, I think. I'm sure we're going to have some discussion about whether or not I should use them. I'm not fully I'm open-minded. I get why people want me to use them, but I don't think I'm going to. And I'm going to captain Haaland. I've changed my vice captain. I changed my vice captain from Bruno to Gyökeres, but I actually think I maybe might put it on Mateta, to be honest. Do I actually think that Mateta is better than Gyökeres this week? Maybe. I mean, you've got to ask yourself, who is better than Mateta? There's not really a good answer to that, I don't think, apart from no one. Anyway, yeah, I'm rolling. I actually quite like my team this week. I think it looks all right. Anderson has made my mood towards my team a bit better. Wildcard active, got some decisions to make today. I've not looked massively at wildcard this week, but I suspect it should be fairly straightforward. To be fair, wildcards are always pretty straightforward for the first 11 or 12 picks. It's always those fringe picks that are the most annoying. 2 free transfers. Do Bruno... Bruno out. But is this really the first super chat of the day? Bruno out? Come on. Bruno and Van de Ven to Mbeumo and Munoz. Okay, quite nice. Or Reinders, Van de Ven to Xhaka and Munoz. You can also just do Van de Ven to Richards, but I really love Munoz. You should probably just get Munoz if you really love him, honestly. I don't know. Reinders needs to be dealt with at some point. But is Xhaka really the way? I mean, he's fine. You could argue he's the best 5 million midfielder. How many 5 million midfielders do we want in our teams much longer? Personally, I can't wait to get rid of mine. Bruno to Mbeumo feels a bit sideways. I don't know. Probably Bruno to Mbeumo, I guess. I don't particularly like either moves, but I get that you want Minos. That seems fair. I'm not rolling. I'm rolling the 2 transfers I've got left. I haven't just rolled this week. I have made 1 move, but yeah. I think basically next week I'm going to use 3 transfers, or I'm going to roll to 4. I'm probably not going to use just 2 or 1, unless I get an injury. 1 free transfer, João Pedro to Voltemada. It's fine. Honestly, I'd probably keep. I'd be tempted just to roll in that case. Start Richards or Anderson. Ooh. I mean, I don't know. Is Richards that much safer? I'd probably start Anderson. What do I think of triple captain Voltemada? I think it's mental to triple captain Voltemada. Primarily because there's going to be much better options on paper later on. As bad as West Ham are. And it's an away game as well. Should I bench Enger? Thank you very much. Next one. Should I bench Semenyo and buy Saar for a -4 hit? Probably not. I don't think. I do want to change Reinders, but I'm not going to do it. Mbeumo or Saka. Okay, so I might have that same decision next week, and I'm considering going Mbeumo, but I do think the safer, more reliable, long-term pick, because of no African Cup of Nations and stuff, is Saka. The other thing that's really making me a little bit hesitant to dodge Saka is there are some weeks where you might want to captain him. Spurs at home in 12, Brentford at home in 14, Wolves at home in 16. And the one thing that's playing on my mind a little bit is, right now, everyone's just going to captain Haaland most weeks. But if he blanks a few times before Saka's about to play Wolves, all of a sudden there'll be a swing of people wanting to go Saka. And you could even argue he's just the better option regardless. And I'm not sure I want to expose myself to not having Saka as a captain option. So that's the thing that puts me off going to Mbeumo instead. Like, Mbeumo's minutes, I mean, honestly, you could maybe argue they're slightly better than Saka. Like, obviously, Saka's first choice, but once Madueke's back, early subs could happen. Probably a little bit more than they would do with Mbeumo. Possibly. No Europe either. But obviously, Saka's got penalties. Mbeumo doesn't. So I think Saka is the better pick. I think whether you go Mbeumo really depends on what the money does for you. Really depends what the money does for you. Saka is the better pick. My prediction would be that Saka will score more points than Mbeumo. I don't think that's really that controversial, or it's definitely not a hot take. Mbeumo, literally just did that. Start Calvert-Lewin or Reinders. I know, facepalm. Do you know it's not the end of the world having to start Calvert-Lewin? He's on penalties at least. 90 minutes and penalties. So basically, I mean, it's similar to Paquetá, isn't it? 90 minutes and penalties versus maybe 70 minutes, possibly some part of the game where he's playing a bit more defensive. Although Nico Gonzalez is probably going to start. Better fixture on paper. No DEFCON potential really for Reinders. No penalties. I feel like I would start Calvert-Lewin in that case. For me, it's a little bit different because Paquetá's open play threat is not really there. Calvert-Lewin at least gets chances. He just never scores them. So I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin, I think. Free hit. Pope, Timber, Gabriel, Munoz, Burn, Bruno Guimaraes. Okay. Mbeumo, Saka, Semenyo, Mateta, Haaland. I'm scared it's not enough to gain points. I mean, it depends what your strategy is and what your previous team was. Bruno Guimaraes feels like a bit of a rubbish pick, if I'm honest. Like, he's fine, but... And I know it's West Ham. I'd rather go Gordon than Bruno Guimaraes, I think. Look, you got triple Arsenal, that's good. I mean, there's no way... Semenyo on a free hit? Nah, come on. I know I'm a very boring manager, right? And I don't really venture away from, players that are going to play, etc. But Semenyo against Man City away on a free hit? Nah, I'm not having that. I mean, I'd be tempted to try and get Salah in if you could, or like Gakpo. I'd rather have Gakpo than Semenyo, I think, this week. Like on a free hit, Villa at home versus City away. I mean, Semenyo could do really well. I'm not in a massive rush to sell him, but free hit sounds a bit rubbish. We were discussing this last night. Am I a James Bond fan? I reckon no. I'm really a terrible person. Like, I'm the worst person for this stuff because I don't know if I'm a fan of. Nah, that's rubbish. I should say I'm not a fan of anything like film wise, but I'm not like a massive film nerd. So I like James Bond. What do I need to be considered a fan? Like, I like it, and I'll say this: I really like Daniel Craig as a James Bond, which I know most diehard James Bond fans would probably say is absolute nonsense. But I love the Daniel Craig movies. So am I a fan? I mean, I don't dislike the movies. If that makes me a fan, I guess. Anyway, back to FPL just for a second. Bench 1, Semenyo, Sarr, Gakpo, Gordon, Minte. Oh, maybe Semenyo. I definitely play Sarr. Gakpo's going to start and it's a home game. Minte's got leads and Gordon's on penalties against West Ham. I'm going to say Semenyo. That's my gut instinct. It might be a terrible call, but that's what I'm going to go with. Bench 1, Bowen, Anderson, Fulham, or Enzo. Probably Anderson, I think. In draft, start 3 out of Tarkowski, Porro, James, Munoz. I mean, you play Munoz, right? You play Munoz, Porro. Porro's at home. Yeah, Porro and Tarkowski. I think that's fairly straightforward. Bench James. Drop Tarkowski for Trippier, Ruben, Richards, Palace, double up long term. Nah, I'd probably just keep him, especially if it's FPL draft and like defensive contributions or a thing. Should I take out Salah for Saka or Sarr? And then would you take a hit for Goodmanson to Gabriel? I probably wouldn't take the hit. I would just keep Salah if you don't need the money this week. Otherwise, I'd go Saka. Like, Sarr's good, but he's not better than Saka, right? Start Reinders or Rodgers and roll, or Rodgers to Sarr and bench Reinders. So, if you can get Sarr in, I would just get him in. If it's not going to impact any of your future moves, I would just do that. Otherwise, start Reinders. Actually, I don't even know who Villa have got. I've just said that so, like, confidently, and I don't actually, if you ask me, I don't know who Villa have got. They're away, surely. Yeah, away to Liverpool, of course. Idiot. Yeah, Reinders. Is Reinders better than Mateta? No, I don't think so. Although, to be honest, I would happily see Reinders outscore Mateta today. Thanks for the 40 months. Play Semenyo, João Pedro, or Anderson. Is that Nottingham Forest Anderson? In which case, I'd bench him. Minte or Enzo on wildcard. I'd be tempted to go Enzo. Chelsea players are a bit weird right now because Maresca keeps saying that Enzo, Caicedo, and João Pedro have got like problems. They're not properly training and stuff. They have to take it game by game. But they all just keep playing good minutes. And as far as we know, Enzo's on penalties. And it's Wolves at home. And then it's... Is it Leeds? And then it's... No, I think... Is it Wolves then? Yeah, sorry. It's Wolves, then Burnley. And then Leeds in game week 40. So I quite like Enzo, you know. But I will say, Minte is cheaper. And he's probably the better long-term pick because of how good Brighton's fixtures are for a while. So it depends. Like, I think Enzo will be an almost certain sell for you in 15 or 16. Minte, maybe not. So it depends how long-term you want to think. But I would say next 5 or so weeks, probably Enzo's better. Can't decide, start Semenyo, Xhaka, Burn. Well, Semenyo, actually. I don't even know what I'm thinking about it. Tarkowski and Stack to Beal, Achimpong, and Sarr -4 will be benching the 3. Now I would just play Tarkowski. Start Porro or Rodon. Porro, I think, and Semenyo or Isidore. Sunderland are home to Everton. Semenyo, I think, but I get why you're undecided. Gakpo over Semenyo and Sarr over Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, if that's for the free hit team, 100% yes. Start one of Reinders or Kudus. Home to Chelsea, pretty much guaranteed minutes. Home to Bournemouth. I'm going to say Kudus, I think. Just that's more of a safety minutes play than anything else. Jumped 16k from 800k with a game week rank of 132. That's absolutely insane. Congratulations. It's my best ever rank, so I want to thank you for amazing content and making fantasy so easy and fun. Thanks for watching. Now you got to stay there. Now you got to try and stay top 16k for a long time. That's the difficult part, but you're already in a ridiculous position. I'm very jealous. Thoughts on Captain and Gabriel over Saka? I think Saka's the better pick. Gabriel's fine, but I don't ever think there's going to be many game weeks where he's the best pick. If you really want to captain Gabriel, here's my thing, right? And I know most weeks there's like a bit of decision over captaincy. So I'm not saying it's always straightforward. But Gabriel's playing Burnley away, right? If you're really serious about captaining him, what's the dilemma? Because you're not going to get many better weeks than this. Like I said on the video yesterday, I think deep down most people don't really want to captain defenders. So you should go for Saka, in my opinion. Why is Voltemada so underrated by FPL YouTubers? I mean, is he that underrated? He's probably a good third forward if you've got the money to spend. He's not better than Mateta. He's not better than Haaland. Most people don't have a spot for like a third 7.5 million plus forward, which is why he's not in anyone's teams. That's about it. Yeah. Just tuned in. The first words I hear is, as bad as West Ham are, I'm afraid you're pretty damn bad. Like, I can't believe I've wasted so much time watching West Ham in recent weeks just because of Paquetá. The thing is, I've got no players in the game. So basically, if you haven't looked at what time the matches are on, 3 p.m. games today are huge. You've got like your triple Arsenal. Lots of people have got like double or triple Palace. Joachim Andersen back. You know, Bruno Fernandes in Mbeumo in play. Some of you might have Brighton players, etc. And then tomorrow, West Ham Newcastle. There's part of me that wants to play Paquetá over Reinders just so I've got some skin in the game for this one. Because I'm going to have Haaland for this game. And I've got nothing in Monday Night Football. Kind of sad. It's always nice to have someone in Monday Night Football, unless it's Paquetá, followed up by Friday Night Football, and it's just terrible. Yeah, Gabriel captain's fine. I prefer Saka, and I probably always will in any given game week. Reyesar, Rice, and Thiago in for Petrovic, Gyökeres, Xavi Simons, and Paquetá. I mean, yeah, probably. The thing is, you've got... Okay, if I've worked this out correctly, you've got a spare Arsenal slot because you're only selling one Arsenal player, you're buying two. So you can do Xavi Simons to Rice and... Yeah, you could just do Xavi Simons and Paquetá to Rice and Sarr, right? I think you've got enough money. Maybe. It depends how much money you got in the bank. I don't know. I think selling Xavi Simons and Paquetá is fine. Gyökeres got Burnley, so it doesn't feel great. Petrovic is a bit rubbish this week, and Ray is better long term. I don't know. This is why I'm struggling to spend my 2 free transfers, because when I do it, I want it to be like, I'm 100% these upgrades are good. I definitely prefer the 4 players on the left, so I guess it's pretty good, yeah. I don't know, if someone's spending 4 transfers in 1 week, I almost want to be wowed by it. And I don't think I'm wowed, but I think you are getting upgrades, so I think it's good. Bench one of Anderson. Maybe I'm just immune from making transfers. I've rolled too much now. I can't picture that it's actually good to use transfers. Bench one of Anderson, Richards, or Senesi. Bench 2, Calvert-Lewin, Reinders, Richards, Kudus, Grealish. Ooh. Bench 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd probably bench Reinders and Richards, I think. The Richards ain't bad this week, but probably, yeah. João Pedro and Senesi for Mateta, Richards. That sounds pretty good, as long as you need a defender this week. If you could just bench Senesi, I would just do João Pedro to Mateta, but if you need to free up money, then yeah. I'm 29k overall rank. In Mbeumo and Guiu for Mateta and Ruta. I don't know which way round you're making the moves there, but I don't like either of them. I don't think. Like, Mateta's good, but if you've got Mbeumo, I don't think you sell him. And Mateta's good, so if you've got him, you don't sell him for Mbeumo. So I don't really like either, I don't think. Swap Kudus for Sarr for free. Yes, I would do that. The 5 transfer top-up in 16 would likely leave me with 4 throwaway moves. Would you switch Semenyo to Mbeumo Bruno this week to avoid having him for City and Villa away? We'll get him back in 12. Yes, but obviously you've probably got a bit of money tied up in him. So is that going to stop you buying him back? Because I don't think Semenyo is going to get sold that heavily. So I don't think his price is going to drop. So yes, if you're absolutely sure you're going to be okay with transfers and money, but on it, like if you're buying Mbeumo and Bruno, you are buying them for 2 away games. Like Semenyo's not that much worse than either of them next week, so it's really just this week. But I don't hate it. I've seen plenty of people selling Semenyo to buy him back because they got loads of transfers. It's fine. Adam, thank you. Start Rodon, Mukiele, Senesi as third centre back. I mean, easy Mukiele there, I think. Munoz, Timber, Sarr, and Enzo, or Richards, Rodon, Sarr, and Saka. See, this is the thing with Saka, right? I think the first one is better. Munoz, Timber, Sarr, and Enzo is a better combination overall than Richards, Rodon, Sarr, and Saka. Rodon, my 5th defender. Oh, basically, okay, if you've got Saka, I wouldn't sell him. But if you're buying new, I think the non-Saka option is better, apart from what I mentioned earlier, that at some point you might want to captain him and not having him could suck. That's the only thing that's playing on my mind. But honestly, I don't see many people actually wanting to captain Saka apart from maybe game week 16 against Wolves. Maybe 14 against Brentford, maybe. But in game week 16, we're going to get topped up to 5 transfers. So if we need to get him in, I guess we can. Play Paquetá, Reinders, or Alderete. I'd be tempted by Alderete, honestly. Clean sheet potential, Defcons. -4 Minter. No, I wouldn't do that. Marco, 18 months, thank you. Do you think Krupi could become a starter? In my opinion, no. I think when Evan Nilsson's fully fit, he just goes back in as the number 9. Krupi might get more minutes because of how well he's done, but I think the idea that he's going to be a starter, I'm not convinced at all. Also, Mbeumo and Krupi or Voltemada and Xhaka already use bench boost. I prefer Mbeumo. So basically, you're going to probably bench Krupi or Xhaka quite a lot. So I prefer Mbeumo over Voltemada right now. So I would go that one. But I'd probably buy Guiu instead of Krupi. Is free hit mad? My team is in shambles. The only thing to consider when your team's looking bad is, if you free hit, is it still going to look bad next week? Because if it is, you're probably better off using transfers. Voltemada for Newcastle was captain today. Good luck. 3 free transfers, only 0.3 in the bank. Thinking Anderson and Minter in with Reinders and Van de Ven out. I'm very surprised with the amount of people thinking about selling Van de Ven after a 23-pointer. But fair play to you. Feels a bit meh. Better with rolling to 4. Oh, if that's Joachim, if that's Joachim Anderson and Minter, that's pretty good. Again, I know on recent videos it sounds like I'm just like, you've got to roll. You know, if you can get Joachim Anderson in, and obviously there is some risk there, so keep that in mind. And Minter, like, they are probably 2 upgrades on Reinders and Van de Ven. You'll still have 2 transfers next week. How important is it for your team to have 4? That's what I can't see, right? It might be that you get to 4 next week and you can make some other massive upgrade that's much better than the one you're doing. Like, this is what I've been trying to explain very badly to people. Because, like, in my comments, it's just like, you've got Reinders, you've got 2 free transfers. What are you doing, you idiot? Just get rid of him. But it's hard to, like, try and explain that if I don't make the move this week, I might be able to make better moves next week or the week after. And that's what is very difficult for someone who's not managing your team to see, basically. Because maybe you haven't, right? But I know for my team, I've already thought about, but if I don't do this week, I'm going to do this in 11. I might do this in 12, this in 13, this in 14. I've got, like, I was even last night looking at, okay, if I get to game week 16 with 5 free transfers, I'll do Mbeumo to Cunha. And then in game week 17, I might make a defender swap. Like, that's the kind of thing people aren't thinking about. They're just looking at it for this week and saying, oh no, you've got to change that player. So to come back around to your question, there's 2 upgrades as long as Anderson plays. Does it impact your team long term? Is it a good move for your team long term? If it is, then you can do it. Start Burn or James, Burn, Enzo or Semenyo. Enzo or Semenyo is tough, actually. Semenyo is probably going to get more chances, I think. But Enzo's on penalties. Semenyo could be on penalties if Kluivert's off the pitch. Very much less likely to be on penalties if Kluivert is on the pitch. I think I would play Enzo, but I'm not completely sure about it. Start Kudus or Semenyo. Semenyo. Love the content. Thanks for watching. Play Kudus or Paquetá. Probably Kudus. James playing as well. Do you know what? Maybe Paquetá in that case, but I don't particularly like either this week. Raya, any changes? What changes are you thinking about making? Should I play the bench boost? What's your bench this week? Your bench is probably Konza against Liverpool away. Goodmanson, no. Why would you play bench boost? Dubravka's got Arsenal. Your bench is goalkeeper against Arsenal, defender against Liverpool, defender against Man City, and then João Pedro, I guess. I don't like it, but I don't know when you're going to have a better bench. You'd have to... I mean, I don't know how many transfers you've got, how much money you've got in the bank. If you can improve some of those defenders, then maybe you bench boost. But it depends what your team's going to look like in future weeks. Start Enzo or Mukiele. Probably Enzo. but it's quite close. Semenyo to Mbeumo for ownership reasons, or is that mad? I don't think it's a mad transfer, but I think doing it purely for ownership reason is probably not worth it. I mean, when you say ownership reasons, is it because you're worried about how high Mbeumo's ownership's getting, or is it because you're thinking Semenyo is too high and you want to back against it? You're basically selling one highly owned player for another one that's also quite highly owned. I think Semenyo is perfectly reasonable to, like, from next week, I think Semenyo is probably just as good as Mbeumo. So it's only really this week. So it's not a mad transfer. I just don't think it's, like, I wouldn't say that's like a super obvious upgrade, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Start 2 from Enzo, João Pedro, Caicedo, Adoretti. I would bench João Pedro and Caicedo. Oh, no. I would definitely bench Caicedo. This is what I was saying on benching headaches yesterday. My gut feeling is you play Alderete or Mukiele over João Pedro, but I don't know if I could actually go through with that. So I would probably start Enzo and João Pedro. I think the best option might be Enzo and Alderete, possibly. 1 free transfer, sell Bowen for Mateta or roll. Look, Bowen's got Burnley at home next week, so it's okay to roll if you want to. But I do think Mateta's probably better over the next 5-6 weeks. Have 5 free transfers. Have 5 frees. Want transfer 1 of Paquetá, Reinders, Dewsbury Hall. Yeah, then you should do that. I would probably sell Reinders out of the 3. It's funny. I think Reinders is probably the better pick of the 3 this week. But I think I'd sell Reinders because Paquetá has Burnley next week and Dewsbury Hall's cheap. So I'd sell Reinders. Depends how much money you've got to who you go to. 3 free transfers: Yorkresh, Paquetá, Canate to Thiago, Mbeumo, Timber. Yeah, again, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. I'm finding it quite difficult to get excited about these 3, 4, 5 transfer moves. That's the thing, like, when you roll transfers, you almost want something big just to present itself. Like, in some ways, you want to, not that anyone ever wishes injuries on anyone, but if I get to next week with 3 transfers and 2 or 3 of my players get injured, all of a sudden, like, it's just super obvious what to do. Like, selling Yorkresh feels rubbish. Again, I think the 3 players on the right are probably better, Thiago and Mbeumo, Timber, so it's okay. I can't get more excited about it than that. Semenyo or Bowen on the bench, probably Semenyo. Raya, Van Dijk, Gay. Okay, ranks. Any changes? I think when you show me your whole team, it's just much easier if you tell me what moves you're thinking about doing. Again, I don't know how much money you got, how many transfers you've necessarily got, what your future thoughts are with chips, etc. Like, your team looks fine. If you can move Reinders on, great. If you can get Mateta in as well as Voltemade and Haaland, great. But Voltemade's fine. Like, what are you thinking? Mbeumo and Krupi or Thiago and Njai? Thiago and Njai if you're going to play Thiago a lot. But Thiago's fixtures are not great outside of Game Week 13. So again, probably Mbeumo and Krupi or Guiu. Shupli transferred Gabriel to Calafiori for bench boost last week. Do I reverse or do I do Chalobah to Munoz? I would probably just I think getting Munoz is better than selling an Arsenal defender back for another one, but at some point you probably will want to get Gabriel. Want to back against 70% EO, Semenyo, so Calvert-Lewin or Rodon. Calvert-Lewin, I think. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin for me out of those. I'll tell you what. It's a busy deadline stream. It's a busy deadline stream today. Odds of Saliba starting. My prediction would probably be a benching, if that helps. But I wouldn't be that confident. So I guess maybe 60-40 benching or not in the squad. Something like that. I just think Mascara's right there. He just doesn't have to risk him against Burnley. Like, Burnley are not likely to cause Arsenal many problems, right? Whether Saliba or Mascara is playing. So I think in fact, now I've thought about it, I think Saliba starting is like 35%, something like that, maybe. Maybe even lower, honestly. Gordon, Enzo, Semenyo, Adoretti, Rodon, start 3. Gordon, I'd probably start the attackers. Yeah, thoughts on captain in Welbeck versus Leeds? I think it's fine if you don't have Haaland or Yorkresh or Saka or Gabriel. Maybe Mateta's better than Welbeck. mean, he's playing 90 minutes quite a lot. He's probably on penalties. He's not terrible. But I don't think he's anywhere. I don't think he's in the top 3, that's for sure. Bench João Pedro or Lacroix. Again, right, this is one of those where maybe I should just go with my initial instincts. Instinct is you play Lacroix, honestly. There's a chance of a clean sheet, although Brentford have played well recently. Defcons, maybe goal threat. Whereas João Pedro's just been a bit rubbish. But if I actually had your team, and that was my decision, would I actually bench João Pedro for Lacroix? I'm not sure if I would. So I'll go with my gut instinct, and that is to play Lacroix. But I'm honestly not sure if I would actually do that. Bruno, Mbeumo, and Van Dijk to Gab. Oh, Bruno to Mbeumo and Van Dijk to Gabriel for -4. Nah. Not for me. If you really want to do it next week for free, then do it next week. Wildcard, Mbeumo, Sarr, Minte, Semenyo, and Enzo or Njai. I'm not sure where I completely stand on Enzo versus Njai. I think if fixtures were equal, I'm definitely all over Njai over Enzo. But they're not equal. I keep looking at Chelsea's fixtures, Wolves, Burnley, and Leeds in the space of although Leeds have not been bad this season, in the space of 4 game weeks. I just think Everton's fixtures are a little bit trickier overall. But no matter what happens, Njai's first choice penalty taker, Enzo might not be. Like when Palmer's back, but then will Palmer ever be back? I don't know what I would do. I could sit here for half an hour and I'm not sure what I would do. I'd probably just flip a coin. I think I would. I'm going to say Enzo purely because I've looked at moves next week that maybe buy him. I don't see me buying Njai. So I'm going to say Enzo, but you can tell by my hesitation it's a freaking close call. Dorgu or Van de Ven to bench? Dorgu's probably not going to start, right? Unless I've missed something. It's likely just to be Dallo left wing back and Ahmad, right wing back. So probably just bench Dorgu. Sell Saliba for Minos to a -4. Probably not. I want to go against Haaland captain for the fun of it. Eze, Saka or Mateta, Saka. Start one of Achimpong, Konza or Senesi. I mean, Achimpong is not a guaranteed starter, and the problem is he could come on. I guess you risk Achimpong because the fixture's better, but they're all just pretty bad this week, I would say. Yeah. What was I going to look at here? Oh, I just realised I'm still listening to Phoenix. I need to change that. Semenyo to Sarr to fund João Pedro to Mateta. Semenyo overperforming. Semenyo has overperformed, but he's still a good pick. But yeah, I think I'd rather have Sarr and Mateta than Semenyo and João Pedro by quite a bit, I'd say. How stupid is Timber on a -4? Depends who you're selling. I don't know if I'd class it as stupid, but I probably wouldn't do it. Paquetá's going to score a penalty on my bench, probably. I'm not completely sure who to start. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I've just seen something quite interesting for YouTube members that I might test out on Sundays, knee-jerk stream, which they might enjoy if you're a YouTube member. Anyway, start a poll. Who to start? Reinders versus Bournemouth at home. Paquetá versus Newcastle at home. I'll add in Dewsbury Hall. Just like I did on Twitter. You can tell me who you want to play. Okay, sorry, where did I get up to? I played Pedro. Oh, sorry, hang on. Reinders to Minter for a -4. No, probably not. I think Reinders will start. Going with Dubravka, Reinders, Juve, and benched Sanchez, Semenyo, Van der Ven. What are your thoughts? You can be mean if very risky. I would play Sanchez over Dubravka. I'd probably play Semenyo over Reinders, but it's fair if you want to go the other way around. And Juve, it's a home game, I guess. Van der Ven's also. I'd play the 3 players you're benching over the 3 players you're starting, but it's not completely. I don't get the goalkeeper one if I'm honest, but I kind of get the other 2-ish. Would you start Xhaka or Semenyo? Semenyo. Can I do a sell of João Pedro, Reinders, and Bruno to get Saka and Mbeumo and Mark Guiu? You can, yeah. You can do whatever you want with your own team. I think long term, going with a dead forward spot's okay. Play Pedro Porro or João Pedro, Tarkowski, Guiu, or Stitch start. Is that stack maybe? I'd start Tarkowski. Also, Mbeumo captain over Haaland or Saka is a differential. Reasons not to. I mean, Mbeumo's not on penalties. An away game against Forest might be okay. Haaland's at home, always difficult to back against him. Saka's got Burnley away. I'd go Saka if you want to go different. Is it worth taking a -4 hit? João Pedro out, already got Haaland and Mateta. No, probably not. João Pedro, Anthony, Larson to Mateta, Guiu, Minte. Yeah, quite like it. Start Bowen, Cherky, Rodon, Senesi. I mean, Cherky's probably not going to start, right? So I'd start Bowen. Bench one of Semenyo, Thiago, Enzo. Ooh. Thiago. Oh, my God. Thiago, I think, but I'm not completely sure about that. Reinders and João Pedro for Thiago and Mbeumo, or Sara and Mateta. Sara and Mateta for me. Good morning. Foden and Yorkeresh to Saka and Thiago. Honestly, I think I'd rather have Foden and Yorkeresh this week. You can always do it next week instead. I think Thiago is a good value player at his price. The fixtures really aren't that great, though. They're really not until game week 13. I don't see a rush to get him in. Playing Jai or Enzo. This week in Jai, even though I said earlier I'd probably buy Enzo out of the 2. Tarkowski to any 4.5 million defender. Enzo to Sar. Reinders to Minte or in Jai. Due to good fixtures for João Pedro and Yorkeresh, I stuck to make my 4th transfer for Voltemada. I wouldn't sell Enzo, I don't think. Reinders to Minte or in Jai is fine. Tarkowski 24. I mean, you can just go down to Michael Keane if you want to, yeah? Would you do Kukurea to Timber this week for free? Probably. I mean, getting Timber in is just great, right? Because you just hold him for ages. Like, literally 10 plus weeks, probably. Bench one, Gay, Mukiele, Sar, Minte. Gay or Mukiele. I'm going to say Gay. If you had Isak in draft, would you keep or trade? I mean, I'm going to give the obvious. Depends who you're trading him for, right? Eventually, Isak's minutes are going to be good. Someone has to take penalties when Salah's at African Cup of Nations as well. Could be Isak. In fact, it probably would be Isak. So I think I'd keep him. I don't think he's going to be out long term, but it depends who you can trade him for, right? João Pedro, Anthony, and Richards to Guiu, Enzo, and Munoz, or roll to 4. Again, like, is that a great use of 3 free transfers? Like, to me, yeah. I'd be tempted to roll to 4. It's fine. You get Munoz in, which I like, but I think I'd roll to 4, I think. But then again, if you're having to play Anthony against Burnley, that's against Arsenal, that's pretty horrible. If you're having to play Anthony, I'd do the moves. Because Munoz is an upgrade as well. Have Sanchez, Trippier, Porro, Paquetá, Utara, Pedro, Bowen. Wildcard in game week 11 or take a -4. If you got a wildcard and all those players you're not happy with, why would you take a hit rather than just wildcard? Surely you just wildcard, no? You've got 1, 2... Basically, you've just listed a bunch of players you're not happy with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players you're not happy with. And you're thinking about taking a -4 to wildcard next week. Why not just wildcard now? Yeah, I don't understand the saving of the wildcard in that situation. Is that Reinders or Nico Williams? Matty, 26 months. Reinders. Is there anyone you'd sell Semenyo to this week? Sar? Best goalkeeper under 4.7. Does that count out Petrovic? I think it probably is Petrovic. Goalkeepers I've not really looked at for ages. Yeah, probably Petrovic. He just looks horrible this week. Probably where I would go to. Kelleher's not any better. Verbruggen. Oh, do you know what, actually? I think I might go Verbruggen. Brighton's fixtures are so good for quite a while now. Yeah, I think Verbruggen, unless someone's got a better choice for me. I mean, you got like Roofs, you got Perry as well, but I think Verbruggen. Mbeumo, Minte, and Krupi, or Mateta, Sarr, and King. Probably Mateta, Sarr, and King, honestly. Best goalkeeper going forward, already have triple Arsenal. Pope, maybe, or Verbruggen, who I've just magically found. I mean, Donnarumma's not terrible, I guess, but he's quite pricey now. Nitty, thank you. Start 4 and bench 2 of Munoz. Come on, you're not benching Munoz, are you? Come on, Munoz, Burn, Voltamada, Thiago, Semenyo, Mukiele. I mean, that is tough. So Voltamada and Munoz, you're definitely starting, right? There's not really a debate there. I'd probably start Semenyo and probably Thiago. Are you into watches? What watch do you wear? Not really. Just wear an Apple Watch for tracking steps, and when I go on walks and gym, that's about it, really. I've got a watch that my wife gave me when we got married. Otherwise, that's it. Please, I'm stuck. Who to captain in Mbeumo or Gabriel? Gabriel are the two, probably, but I think you've probably got better than both of those in your team. Thiago or Krupi for the next few weeks with bench boost still. Thiago if you need to bench boost. Start 2, bench 2 of Gakpo, Voltamada, Semenyo, Enzo. Ooh. I think I'd start Voltamada and Gakpo for fixture reasons. Konza, Foden, João Pedro to Timber, Gordon, and Welbeck. Sure, I don't know. Gordon's a weird one because I think he's quite good and I wouldn't sell him. But I think people that have got him are like, should I get rid of him? It feels like a weird time to buy him, but I also understand it. Yeah, I think those 3 moves go down as I don't hate it. Reinders to Saka for -4. Ooh, -4. Yeah, probably just because it's Saka. Rage sold Reinders, so enjoy his points today. Honestly, I'm telling you now, there's like, I've got 8 players, I think, playing at 3 o'clock. I've got Van Dijk later on and then 2 tomorrow. This evening, I'm going to be getting super annoyed about my team again, probably. And then by Monday, I'll have talked myself around to just roll. Just roll to 4 transfers after the break. Why not? I predict it now. Man United tagged my wife on their Instagram last week for their Fan Friday post. She almost passed out imagining the players scrolling and seeing her. Oh, nice. Okay. Anyway, Richarlison out for Welbeck or Mateta. Is anyone better than Mateta? It's got to be Mateta, right? Virgil van Dijk or Anderson to start? I'd start Van Dijk, I think. I think it's worth... I do think Joachim Anderson will start. That's my prediction. But there is obviously some risk there. Whereas Van Dijk, you know he's going to play. I don't know. I just... mate, there's probably a little bit of bias there because I've had him for so long. Looked like you were wearing a Breitling. I don't even know if that's how you say it. Aren't they like ridiculously expensive? Aren't they crazy expensive, those kind of watches? Like mad expensive. I'm looking now. They're like 5 or 6 grand. No, I would never. I don't know. I feel like to buy a watch like that, you've got to have absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. And even then, I don't know if I could be arsed spending that much money on a watch. 5 or 6 grand? No. I promise you now, I do not have a watch that costs that much. I mean, I know the streams are like 50 grand, give or take, but even then, I don't really want to buy a watch that expensive. Yeah, the 50 grand. Even now, I just don't really care that much about having that expensive a watch, to be honest. You'll learn the more questions you ask that. I just like don't really care. Like, I have an Apple Watch to track my steps. That's about it. And I only have an Apple Watch because my mate got one, and we were doing like a few like challenges versus each other. Otherwise, I'd probably still have my Garmin. Right, where did I get up to? 2 free transfers on bench boost 11. João Pedro to Jean-Philippe Mateta, and Longstaff to King. So in game week 11, who have Leeds got? Forest away. I just keep Longstaff. Fulham are away to Everton. King, I feel it's a waste of a transfer to me. I mean, if you need the money, maybe. I'm not the biggest fan of Josh King, though, as a pick in general. Start Gio or Richards. Richards, Anderson or Van der Ven. Start Anderson. If you're on wildcard, which 5 midfielders? I'd probably go Saka. The thing is, I think it's quite difficult to have Saka, Fernandes, and Mbeumo. So I'd probably go Saka, Fernandes, Sarr. So Saka, Fernandes, Sarr would almost be locks for me, I think. And then I guess something like Enzo and Njai, if I could afford it, or Enzo and Minte, something like that. Bench one of Saka, Minte, Sarr. Come on. You can't say bench one and start with Saka versus Burnley. Okay, I have looked at the rest of your picks, right? And they are a bit ridiculous, I'll be honest. Bench one of Saka, Minte, Sarr, Cunha, Gordon, Yorkresh, Voltemada. Bench one of those players, and I'm sat with Reinders in my team. That's ridiculous. Okay, not Saka, obviously. Not Sarr. Not Gordon because of penalties. Yorkresh is playing Burnley. Voltemada's playing West Ham. So Minte or Cunha. Honestly, I want to say bench Minter, but I actually think it might be Cunha that you should bench. What a ridiculous team that is. I'm so jealous. Bench one of Enzo, Thiago, Semenyo, Kudus, Minte. Kudus probably. Play Calvert-Lewin or King. Calvert-Lewin. Pickford, Watkins, Caicedo, Cucurella, bench boost. Spurs away. Liverpool away. Sunderland away. I mean, if that's really your bench, is it going to get any better anytime soon? Probably not, right? So I'd maybe just do it. Captain Haaland, Saka, Timber or Calafiori. Haaland, start Grealish or Semenyo. I actually think Semenyo. Start 2, bench 1. Semenyo, Enzo, Caicedo. Start 2. Bench Caicedo, right? It's fairly straightforward. Should I start Roofs or Pope? West Ham away, Everton. Ooh, probably Roofs, I think. Do I go Strand Larson and Minte or Voltemada and Dewsbury Hill? Honestly, ideally neither. Probably Voltemada and Dewsbury Hill, I think. Jab Pedro to Voltemada, free transfer, just take a -4 hit to buy Mateta. Maybe just roll and get Mateta next week for free. Is also an option. If you have to do one of those, I guess I would just go Voltemada. Yeah, if Longstaff's Kings to fund it, then it's okay. Captain Saka, Yorkresh or Haaland. Haaland for me, but Saka's also good. FPL Rogue 19 months. Bench 1 of Enzo, João Pedro, Semenyo. Probably João Pedro. Out of those. How do I super chat in mobile YouTube version? I'm not sure, to be honest. Start 2, Chalobah, Reinders and Semenyo. I'd bench Chalobah. Any plans like a Q&A or other special content once you hit 500k? I could do like a 500k Q&A, but honestly, the answers are probably just the same as 100k, 200k. So I don't know. Start Richards or Reinders. I really do think Reinders is going to start. I think Rich is going to start too. Defcons, potential clean sheet. Richards feels like the one because it feels like more... I feel like the floor is maybe higher with Richards than Reinders. Honestly, if it was my choice, I'd probably start Reinders. I have a feeling I would do that. A car stream for 500k, maybe. Play 3-4. Okay, so Reinders versus Anderson. Honestly, if you're confident Anderson starts, I think he's better than Reinders. I really do. Wolves at home, such a good fixture. He's great for Defcons. Genuine chance of a clean sheet. I think you play Anderson over Reinders, just about. Would you bench boost Dubravka, Reinders, Rodon, Senesi? Maybe, but again, it's Arsenal for Dubravka. It's Man City away for Senesi. It's not great. Rodon's away. I mean, it's always the same question. Will you have a better bench anytime soon? Because if you will, I'd maybe save it. Reinders to Sarr this week. Yes, why not? Best 4 million or less defender on wildcard. Stev, maybe? I think Rodon's got up in price. So's Mukiele. So's Adoretti. So is Stev or Goodmanson, probably. I think. Start Dubravka or Petrovic. Petrovic, I guess. 29 months, by the way. Thank you. That's it's really horrible. Maybe Dubravka because he's at home. But I'm going to say Petrovic. Just think Bournemouth slightly stronger team. Well, not even slightly stronger. They are a stronger team. Start 2, Romero, Senesi, Richards, Goodmanson. Romero's probably back. So I'm going to say Romero and Richards. Yeah. Bench one of Sarr, Njai, Enzo, Welbeck, and Semenyo. Ooh. Maybe Semenyo. I don't think you can bench Welbeck if you got him. Chuanzebe, yeah, maybe to save the money. He does look like he's fairly locked in for Burnley. But I guess I'm a bit more confident on Esteve. But yeah, Chuanzebe's not bad. Remember you doing this on your wedding day. My mate's getting married today and he's still sending me trade drafts for FPL this morning. Yeah, the thing is, obviously yeah, I did a deadline stream on my wedding day, and some people will think that's just really sad or whatever. But I don't know what it's like for anyone else. But there's a lot of, before the wedding starts, there's like a lot of time to kill. Like, everything was already sorted anyway, and obviously there's nerves as well. So like streaming just cut out an hour or two from my morning when I would have just been hanging around really waiting for stuff to start. So yeah, why not sort out some FPL trades, you know, if there's nothing else going on. If we get some magical info that Guiu starts, would you start him or Reinders? I still think Reinders is better, honestly, but because you know he's starting, you probably just take Guiu, because there is a chance Reinders gets benched. I don't think he will, but there's a chance. Calvert-Lewin and João Pedro, 2 free chances, keep or sell. I mean, if you can do João Pedro to Mateta, I quite like that. Play 2 of Reinders, Dewsbury Hall, Goodmanson, and Senesi. Probably Reinders and Dewsbury Hall, honestly. Reinders will return tomorrow because of the FPL curse. What's the FPL curse? Deadline stream on a wedding day is diabolical. Why is it diabolical, though? What? Tell me why it's diabolical. Especially for a bloke, no makeup, hairstyle. Exactly. I definitely don't need a hairstylist. I mean, actually, you could maybe argue that I do. But I probably need hair more than a stylist. You missed my super chat. Dave Jones. Did I, though? Did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Saka and Keane to Mbeumo and Gabriel next week. Yay or nay? Probably... I'd rather get Gabriel in from someone that's not Saka, I think. Like, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But I don't know if I'd be going out of my way to do it. Would you start Krupa Jr. or Dewsbury Hall? I'm not as convinced as everyone else that Krupa Jr. starts this week, but I guess it is more likely that he does than doesn't. I'm going to say Kroopy, because I guess there is more chance he starts than doesn't. And he might actually shoot. Dewsbury Hall doesn't seem to like doing that. 3 free transfers. Van Dijk, Reinders, João Pedro for Anderson, Enzo, Mateta. Yeah, I quite like it, yeah. As long as you're happy to sell Van Dijk, which you probably are. Surely Yorkresh will score today. Yeah, I wouldn't get your hopes up. To be honest. Senesi or Van de Ven? Van de Ven to start. Easy, I think. What about Josh King since Wolves are bad defensively? What when you say what about him, what do you mean? Buy him? Sell him? Bench him? Play him? Bench boost him? Like, what's the... Sell him Bruno for Mbeumo or keep... I would just keep Bruno, honestly. I know Mbeumo's looked really good recently, but it feels so sideways. I think Fernandes is just a really good long-term hold, to be honest. AZ 25 months, thank you. Would you play Rodon over James and or Stack over... I wouldn't play Stack over Kudus, no chance. Is Mateta a captain option? Yes, but probably not the best. Rodon over James? I feel like I'd start James. There was a Let's Talk FPL wedding sign from memory. Yeah. And like there's a clip on our video. Obviously we got like a videographer. And there's like a clip of when they're all getting ready, just watching the stream. Sell Gakpo for Mbeumo -4. No chance would I do that. Gakpo's pretty good this week. Like Gakpo's per 90-minute numbers, like expected goals, expected assists, are quite similar to Mbeumo, honestly. I think Mbeumo's minutes are probably better, but Gakpo should be fine this week. If we get news that he starts versus Wolves, surely King versus Ryan. I'd probably start King in that decision. Then surely King versus Reinders, Semenyo, etc. becomes a genuine dilemma. I don't think King is better than Semenyo, to be honest. Please order this bench. Stack, Esteve, Senesi. Oh my god. I think what you should probably be doing rather than worrying about bench order is hoping that none of them come on. Like, Stack's just not a guaranteed start anymore, is he? So he's probably got to be last. And then Estev's at home. Senesi's maybe better for DEFCONs, but Man City could score a few. It's Stev Senesi stack, I think, and just pray that all your 11 play. Would I play Creepy Jr. over Paquetá? I'm not so sure. What did your wife say about what you did on your wedding day, and did she ever bring it up during arguments? Luckily, we don't really argue that much. She's fine with it. Why would it annoy her? She was getting ready. I was doing my own thing. She was doing her own thing. I don't. Also, if you've got to remember, like FPL is like a massive part of my life. It's my job. I love doing it as well. I think that's important as well. I love doing it. So I just spent my morning as I would, and then afterwards I went and got a pint and met some people, and then was super nervous, and then got married. It was all good. She did not care one bit. Is Burn to Mukiele and Gay to Minoz worth it? Probably not. And basically, you've got 2 pretty good picks this week, and you're selling them for 2 other pretty good picks. I probably just wouldn't bother. Play Reiner, Xhaka, or Grealish. Probably Grealish. Who gets more points, Mukiele and Minter, or Richards and Tarkovsky? This week, Mukiele and Minter, I think. Minte. Difference between men and women on wedding day is night and day. I know, and the thing is, I didn't really sleep the night before. I was up at like 6 as well. So I in terms of getting breakfast, like going to get suits and stuff like that, it was all done super early. Basically, I took, I don't know why we're talking about this so much. I took my laptop with me and all my gear, and I basically said to myself, I'll check the internet. If the internet's good, I might stream. And if there's stuff going on in the morning, I won't stream. I checked the internet. It was super good. And then there wasn't really much going on in the morning. So I did my stream. That's it. Paquetá to Sar or Roll, 2 free transfers. Sar's an upgrade. So if it doesn't affect anything else, I would do it. Is it dumb to pick Caicedo over Semenyo because I want to have a player to watch in the Spurs game? No, FPL is supposed to be fun. If that makes it more fun for you, go for it. I would play Semenyo over Caicedo, but do what you want. Is Chris Richards now cleared to play? He's trained normally yesterday, apparently, so he should be fine, we think. 3 free transfers. Jarrod Bowen, João Pedro, Dewsbury Hall. I mean, this already sounds pretty good. To Mateta, Thiago Sarr. Yes, probably just do it. Or just do Bowen, João Pedro to Mateta. I think getting Sarr for Dewsbury Hall is also quite nice. On my mate's wedding day, we played FIFA for a couple of hours before kickoff. Why not? You got to take your mind off it, right? I don't like. My general feeling in his life is probably don't spend too much of your time caring however people spend their time. I just don't get why people do that. If someone wants to play FIFA on their wedding day, as long as they're not like putting off something they should be doing, or it's not ruining the day, then who gives a what? Senesi and Semenyo to Gabriel and Rodgers next week for free. Buying Rodgers seems a bit rubbish, but otherwise. Also, selling Semenyo next week feels a bit rubbish too, but I guess getting Gabriel is also always good. Would you pick Enzo over Mbeumo on wildcard if it meant you could have Minoz instead of a 4.2 fourth defender? Probably yes. That's the main problem with Mbeumo, is he's quite pricey now. So it's not. I think he's a good pick, but it might stop you doing something else. Went from Kudus and João Pedro to Sarr and Voltemar to comment. Seems pretty good. If your Chris blanks again, what's your plan? I'm either going to sell him or I'm going to hold him one more week. Basically, if your Chris scores a hat trick, I'm either going to keep him or sell him next week. And if he blanks, I'm going to either keep him or sell him. Were you nervous about your captain decision or getting married? Oh no, I was really nervous about getting married. No, I don't know about. Yeah, I was quite nervous before it started. Once it started, I was fine, but I was really, really bad beforehand. I do remember. I don't really remember checking FPL that much that day, but I do remember being out in the garden getting photos and walking in with a couple of my groomsmen and looking at my phone. And so I think it was Perisic when he was a Spurs defender. I think he was quite popular. This was like game week 3. He was quite popular, and I saw he got an assist. I was like, for you know what? And then that was it. I didn't really check too much after that. I probably did check my score and stuff, obviously, but. Yeah, not a huge amount. Once the stream was done, that was about it. Who's your money on for top 4 and bottom 3? Top 4, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and probably Chelsea. I know that's boring, but probably. I mean, Arsenal are probably going to win the league. Then it'll probably be Liverpool. I think how well Liverpool do will really. I know this is gonna sound really obvious when I say it, but how they do over the next like 2 or 3. Because if you lose too much more ground, it does get tough. But I think they'll easily make top 4 by the end of the season. After game week 19, we'll be looking at Liverpool differently. I think the fixtures are so good. So yeah, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, top 3 almost certainly. Top 4 probably Chelsea. But I think 4th and 5th is tricky this year, but probably Chelsea top 4. Bottom, a lot of that will depend on Palmer as well. Bottom 3, Burnley, and then 2 others. West Ham, I just don't know. Like, I look at West Ham and think, well, they've got Bowen, they got Paquetá, Fernandes looks good as well, Wan-Bissaka's not bad, Juice looked good at times. Like, I almost want to say they're too good to go down. But the problem is, Sunderland and Leeds have already put so many points on the board. And like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I am just an idiot that sits here and talks rubbish about FPL. I don't really know too much about... I'm not like a tactical genius, but I just think for West Ham, like it's so obvious. You just play Wan-Bissaka or Kyle Walker-Peters on the right. You play Juve on the left. You play Fernandes in midfield. You play Paquetá as a 10. You play Wilson as a 9. You play Bowen on the right. You play Somerville on the left. It just feels quite straightforward to do that. Wolves, yeah, are in trouble. I think Burnley, Wolves, and one other. The problem is everyone always predicts Wolves to go down. They always do all right, but this year, looking dodgy. So I'm going to say top 4. I mean, top 4 is probably the easier one to predict, right? Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Burnley, Wolves. Maybe it would be quite funny if Forest get pulled in, but I don't think they will. The thing is, Sunderland have had such good fixtures. Let's see how they do over the next kind of 10 weeks, I guess. They're looking good. I don't know if it would. Yeah, maybe West Ham. I just think that West Ham team has got like a bit of. Do you know what I mean? Like Bowen could pull you out of a relegation scrap on his own. Yeah, I guess if I was betting on it right now, I'd say West Ham. But there's something telling me they'll get out of it. Yeah. Start Van der Ven or Goodmanson, or transfer Van der Ven to Richards or another 4.8. I'd maybe just start Van der Ven. You could go for someone like Keane, wouldn't be that bad. But I'd probably just start Van der Ven. Downgrade Saka or Semenyo to get Gabriel in. Semenyo, I think. Is your question Senesi and Semenyo to Delap? Don't buy Delap. Don't buy Delap. In my opinion. Is your Senesi and Semenyo... How much is Delap? Is he like super cheap or something? He must be over 6, right? He's at Chelsea, 6.2. Don't buy Delap. Mbeumo and Timber next week, pure knee jerk. I don't think it's knee jerk. I don't know why your knees would be jerking about Delap. Yeah, it's fine, but don't buy Delap. Get Welbeck or someone instead, or Thiago. Is Saka a good option for captain over Haaland? Yeah, not bad. If you didn't have Mateta in your team but want to transfer him in and end up with the budget of minus 0.2, who would you sell out your team? I'd maybe do Semenyo down to Sarr, or Lacroix down to someone cheap, Richards or something like that. Or Van Dijk to Keane maybe, actually, and just get rid of that money. Yeah, Delap's suspended this week, but he was talking about next week. Not to take merit from newly promoted, but it's a trend that they usually have a better start of the season than end of. Of course, but this is a way better start than the teams had last year. Like, points on the board are so important. And they got a lot. Any FPL legends at your wedding? Nope. Your FPL favourite? Like, favourite player in FPL? Fernandes right now. Salah's been amazing over the years. I've always got a soft spot for Mikel Antonio after his 4 goals against Norwich as well. Opinion on Premier League referees, I believe it's below level. I don't know. Do we really want to talk about referees on a Saturday afternoon? I don't know. They make some bad decisions, but I just think the whole thing has got like... I just think I don't want to moan about VAR. I just hate how the whole thing works. Like, I just think the whole thing's rubbish. I understand why they want the referee to make the decision, but if someone is watching a TV with better angles and stuff, why can't they just decide? Why can't it be a team thing rather than the referee getting all the blame? Just speed the whole thing up. Does it speak well for the newly promoted or badly the Premier League level as a whole? I don't think it's Premier League level as a whole. Like I don't think we can go from one extreme. Like, you know, people were saying last year the Premier League is just too strong. You come up and you go straight back down. So we can't now say the Premier League level is terrible. I just think that Wolves and West Ham right now are not very good. And Sunderland, like, I think Leeds are the one. Leeds have probably had slightly trickier fixtures than Sunderland have done pretty well. But I think Leeds were always expected to come up and be stronger anyway. I think Sunderland is the surprise team. I'm not saying that everyone predicted Leeds to stay up necessarily, but I think most of us were expecting them to be a bit stronger than recent promoted teams. I think Sunderland are the outlier, but they've also had really good fixtures. But then they've just beat Chelsea. So let's see. Let's see. It's too early to say. We've only had 9 games. João Pedro, Gyökeres, Rodon, Caicedo, Saliba out. Ooh, 5 transfers. Mateta, Thiago, Timber, Minter, Munoz, all for free would leave me 0.3. Or Senesi instead of Rodon leaves 1.1. No, I think Senesi's a good hold. I think that's quite nice. Yeah, I think that's... Although, you're selling 2 Arsenal players, only buying 1, which is interesting. And by the way, I might do the same. I might go down to 2 Arsenal next week, which sounds crazy. But it sounds crazier to do it before they're about to play Burnley. But I get it. You're going for Munoz instead, so I get it. I don't hate that. Yeah, I mean, that's quite nice for a set of 5 transfers. As long as the team's looking good next week. Best FPL content creator. I don't think I can answer that. Too controversial. I don't want to get clipped up and people having a moan at me. Why is Ease at 99% out? Why is he not 100% out? What a strange thing for Slot to say. I guess he's basically just another way of saying he's pretty much definitely out, but there's a very, 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 very tiny chance. Any leaks for Arsenal? That I've not had an Arsenal leak for probably well over a year now. Why don't ex-pros go into refereeing instead of moaning about them as a pundit earning nice? Well, that's why, right? Punditry pays more probably, and you get. Well, I do. You know what? I don't know if pundits do get less grief than refs, to be honest, but it's probably easily manageable. If Arsenal win the league, I'm fleeing to Papua New Guinea. Care to join me? No, I'm kind of happy here. Would you bring in Kudus with 9 million? No. There's no way I would buy Kudus right now. Gyökeres is frustrating and probably won't move him on this week. Any suggestions for replacement next week? Mateta? Or just go down to like a really cheap option on the bench, or get Thiago if you want someone to play on bench boost or something like that. Start 3, Van Dijk, Anderson, Enzo, João Pedro. Again, my initial instinct is to bench João Pedro, but would I actually do that? Probably not, in which case I'd probably bench Anderson, but that feels horrible, so I'm going to say João Pedro. Strand Larson and Porro to Mateta and Mukiele, or Wilson and Porro. Oof, you cannot buy Callum Wilson. That is madness. Oh, sorry, or Wilson and Porro to... Okay, so it's Wilson, I'm guessing Fulham Wilson, or Wilson and Porro to Sarah Mukiele, or Gyökeres and Porro to Mateta and Timber, all -4. Wildcard? I don't think you can sell Gyökeres before Burnley when you're sat there with like Strand Larson and Harry Wilson. Wilson and Porro to Sarah Mukiele, I think. But that's like where that's a situation where I would probably and don't send me the whole team because I won't be able to look into it properly. But I'd almost need to see the whole team and like look for the next few weeks. Can you get Sarr for one of your 3 poor midfielders? I would do that in a heartbeat. I can if I downgrade someone, but there's not really anyone I want to downgrade this week. And also, it's just, like, again, you're saying I've got 3 poor midfielders, but 2 of them are on the bench. It's not like I'm having to play them this week. Should I go for Mateta or Sarr? Depends who you're selling. I think Mateta is better than Sarr, but for your team, it might make more sense to go Sarr. For the record, I'd probably go Mateta. Yeah, Reinders is winning the poll. I'm not surprised that Reinders is winning the poll because, honestly, he's the most owned of the 3. And so people will generally vote for who they own. And also, Reinders is okay this week. But I'm more surprised that Dewsbury Hall is beating Paquetá, to be honest. So that tells me that, I don't know, maybe they just think Dewsbury Hall's a much better player than Paquetá, but it tells me that deep down people aren't as convinced that Sunderland are the best team in the league as maybe a lot of people say. Sorry, I meant who would you bring in for Kudus for 9 million? Bruno Fernandes? Mbeumo, Sarr? Probably one of those three. Start Keane or Senesi? Keane. Easy. Easy. Yeah, I would start Paquetá over Dewsbury Hall. If you won FPL without Bruno, would it feel like a hollow victory and a betrayal of your values? I don't care how I win FPL. I just want to win. Newcastle defend quite well, and Dewsbury Hall plays a newly promoted side, even if they've done well, but Dewsbury Hall does very little. Yeah, Sunderland have defended pretty well, but it's just whether they can keep it up. They are at home. João Pedro I would definitely start Paquetá over Dewsbury Hall, I think. I would just take the penalties. And Defcons. And if he is going to start Callum Wilson, then there is a bit more chance of Paquetá getting Defcons. He's probably not going to get them when he's playing as a kind of number 9. But who knows? Maybe he just doesn't play Callum Wilson again. João Pedro to Welbeck. Already have Mateta. Honestly, I'd be tempted just to keep João Pedro. Honestly, in that case. Like, Welbeck's fine if you want to go for him, but I'll probably just save the transfer. Would you do Grealish or Neto to Sarr and João? Sorry, Grealish or Neto to Sarr and João Pedro to Mateta this week? Yeah, João Pedro to Mateta seems quite nice to me. Neto's got pretty good fixtures after this week. Grealish is okay this week as well. I don't know. You could do the Sarr move. I think the João Pedro to Mateta one's more interesting. Bench one of Wirtz, Semenyo. Wirtz. People still own Wirtz. Down to 8 million. Madness. Wirtz, Semenyo, Reinders, Doku, Eze. Oof. Definitely not Eze. Probably not Wirtz either. So Doku, Reinders, Semenyo. Not Semenyo. So Reinders versus Doku. I think the predicted lineup I saw Luke send out had Doku in it, but I think Reinders is... I think if I asked him, he'd probably say he's more confident of a Reinders start than a Doku one. So I'm going to say bench Doku. Do you know what? Like, Wirtz has been absolutely terrible for FPL. Like, absolutely terrible. But I guarantee you, right, Samir and anyone else that's got Wirtz, as long as they've got most of the other players they feel like they want, there's something nice about having someone like Wirtz this week, I think. Because you know no one else has really got him. So it's a differential. It's not a bad fixture. And it's like, he's not an awful player. So at some point he'll get you something. Hopefully it's this week for you. 0 in the bank, 3 free transfers. Tarkowski to Gay, Richards, and João Pedro to Mateta. Seems quite nice. Is Bruno to Mbeumo worth it to get Munoz over Gay? Using all 3 of your transfers, Tarkowski's good. Bruno's also quite good. It feels a bit rubbish, to be honest, but if you're going to be happy with Munoz and the rest of your team set up for a little while now, I think it's okay. AFA, did I miss it? Did your question... Sorry, I did. Did your question Mateta, Burn or Richards to Timber? I would... Richards has got the better short-term fixtures. Burn might be the better longer-term pick. I'd say Burn. Oh, to Timber or Munoz. Oh, God, I had this discussion on video the other day and I wasn't quite sure. The fixtures are so good for Palace in the short term. I'm going to say Munoz over Timber, but I honestly, if you ask me in 10 minutes, I might go the other way around. It just feels wrong to not have the maximum amount of Arsenal players you can have right now. Start 2, Richards, Anderson, Mukiele. I'd bench Richards of those, I think. Would you consider moving Van Dijk to Munoz? Already have Timber and Gabriel. Yeah, you could definitely consider that if you don't want Van Dijk much longer, which seems fine. Start Goodmanson or Senesi. Goodmanson, Alderete or Reinders first bench. Alderete, I think. God, if I had Alderete, I could be playing a 5 at the back. 5-2-3. Chance of a City clean sheet, I would never bank on it with them. Paquetá to Sarr for a hit. I probably wouldn't do that, no. Is there a Man United defender worth buying? It would probably have to be De Ligt. But I would just wait. I don't think there's any need to buy them before Forest at home, Spurs away. Forest away, Spurs away. There's probably no need to buy a Man United defender full stop, by the way. But if you're going to buy them, just wait a couple of weeks. I think De Ligt's probably the only nailed one. I mean, Dallow's playing quite a lot, but you wouldn't be able to, like, guarantee that. Shaw's obviously playing a lot, but Martinez is back in training now. De Ligt's the only one to have started every game, I think. Pretty sure. City clean sheet percentage, 40%. I still just don't trust them enough. 40% Arsenal feels different to 40% Man City. Oh, they're at home. They'll probably be fine. Bench one, Anderson, Njai, Semenyo. I think I'd bench Anderson out of those. There may be a case to play Anderson ahead of Semenyo, but I probably wouldn't do it. Praying for an Mbeumo blank so he stops rising in price. Yeah, there's a chance I buy Mbeumo next week. It's far from guaranteed, but I could really, like, I obviously want Man United to win, but I could really do with Mbeumo staying quiet. I could also really do with Gyökeres scoring a hat-trick. One, because I would like the points, but two, I don't want him to drop in price. Because there's European games next week, so I'm not going to want to move early. And also, I'm less likely to want to move early this week because I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Whereas in game week, for this week, I was absolutely sure I was doing Evan Nilsson to Mateta, so it made the early transfer a bit easier. Senesi or Anderson? It's got to be Anderson, right? Let's hope he doesn't start on the bench. That would be a nightmare. If Gyökeres blanks, do I sell him for Mbeumo next week? If you think Mbeumo's better, yeah. And he may well be, to be honest. We built this city. Would you bench Joachim Anderson or buy him? Probably Joachim Anderson. City are better with Donnarumma, but they still have a habit of conceding one even when in control. Yeah, they're just not Arsenal, are they? But then, to be fair, that's like such a rubbish thing to say because who are Arsenal when it comes to defensive potential? No one. Would you do Sanchez to Pope or Rare for 4 points? No. I did notice that Sanchez dropped to 4.8 million now. That might not be a bad pickup at some point. What do I think about Calafiori? Good pick. I think he's mostly going to get his rest in competitions that aren't Premier League as well. And also, he's probably more likely to get subbed early than the rest, which might actually be a good thing. I do think he's got more competition than everyone else, though, because you've got Nkapie that can play there and Lewis Skelly as well. But I think he's clear first choice, right? Start Enzo or Paquetá. Enzo, Isak punt was a huge fail. Yeah, I never really got the Isak buying. There was a period, I think, a couple of weeks ago where I had him on the forwards list, but even then, it just always felt like a punt, and like a 10 plus million punt. Oof. Mukiele, Rodon, or Anderson as fifth defender on wildcard. I'd be tempted to pick up Anderson now if you can afford it. This is not like you. It makes no sense for you to bench a penalty taker for Reinders. Oh, I know, but do you know what the problem is? I've watched Paquetá play football for the last 2 games. So I am being a little bit reactionary to that. Thoughts on taking on Haaland captain this week with Timber? I wouldn't be interested with Timber, to be honest. I hadn't even thought of Anderson until I saw the flag gone today. How sure are we he starts? Well, I mean, there's some risk there, but I'm confident enough, I think. João Pedro Gyökeres to Mateta in Mbeumo and a 6 million striker or less than. Wait, what? João Pedro Gyökeres to Mateta in Mbeumo and a 6 million striker. I don't know who else you're selling. If you could just do João Pedro to Mateta, I would just leave Gyökeres for now. I think the hype around Mbeumo is getting a little bit too much. Like, he is good. He's not sell Gyökeres before Burnley good, in my opinion. Wildcarded this week to bring in Raya, 3.9 keeper, Chow, Gabriel, Timber, Gay, Munoz, Mbeumo, Sarr, Bruno, Semenyo, Minte, Harlan, Guiu, Abdullahi. That's obviously another cheap forward, I guess. Any changes? I don't think I would go with. Is that guy like super cheap? Abdullah. Wait, what? Oh, I'm on defenders, so I can't find him. Abdullahi, Sunderland forward, 4.3. I don't think I would go with Haaland only. I would get Mateta in there personally. But I mean, the rest of the picks all look good. Can you wish me luck? I am captaining Voltemada versus a rubbish West Ham defence over Haaland. Good luck. Would you still bench Senesi if it meant playing one of Reinildo or Esteve? Or would you bring someone else in like Anderson just for this week? Hang on. See, I would need... So, Reinildo started the last game. Is that because they played a back five? Or a back three? Are there any Sunderland fans in can tell me whether Reinildo is going to start again? Because if he's going to start, you absolutely just bench Senesi for him. Was he injured? I think I would play Reinildo and bench Senesi and not make a transfer. Which two of these start? Cucurella, Porro, or Rodgers? Porro and Rodgers, I guess. Gabriel captain over Harder. Not for me, but again, if you want to captain Gabriel, why not this week? He's playing Burnley. Should I play Dubravka or my new signing, Lemens? I mean, if you've just signed him and he's got Forest when Dubravka's got Arsenal, I don't know why you wouldn't play him, really. I forgot to mention in my question that Paquetá to Sarr for a hit, but I can't afford Sarr after a price rise. Something else will come out next week. You'll have 2 free transfers, right? Start 2 of Van Dijk, Richards, or Reinders. I'd bench Richards. If you're on wildcard, who would your ideal 5 defenders be? Gabriel, Timber. I'd probably go Anderson. Maybe someone cheap at 4 million, then someone else. I'm not really sure about the last pick. Anderson. I mean, ideally Van Dijk, but I probably wouldn't on wildcard. Maybe a Bournemouth defender, like Truffert or Senesi if you've got money tied up in him. Keane's also not bad. I took a hit to replace João Pedro and Nico Williams with Gabriel and Guy. Was this better than taking a hit to replace Yorkresh and Nico Williams to Gabriel Mateta? Maybe. So now you're having to play João Pedro and Gabriel, whereas you could have been playing Mateta and Gabriel. Or something. I feel like the Gabriel Mateta one was better, but I don't know if I've quite got my head around that. João Pedro or Grealish / Semenyo plus worth -4 going to Sarr. I don't have Mateta. João Pedro or, in brackets, Grealish / Semenyo plus worth -4 going to Sarr. I don't know what you're asking. If it's João Pedro to Mateta, yes, I wouldn't take a -4 to move Grealish or Semenyo to Sarr. If I think I've got that right. Saka over Haaland for captain. If you want to, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I have 4 free chances. Would you consider Yorkresh to Mateta plus Enzo to Mbeumo plus Van Dijk to Timber? Yeah, I don't think you need to do the Enzo to Mbeumo move. Just do the other 2 if you want. You've still got 2 transfers next week, right? Is rotating goalkeepers a bad idea? No, not necessarily. I think these days people generally prefer just having a set and forget goalkeeper, but there's nothing wrong with it. No, it's no different to rotating defenders or whatever, really. All 7 of my forwards blanked last week. It can't get any worse, right? I mean, it could. They could all blank and they could get red cards. Oh, Reinildo was red card. Okay, well, the fact that he came straight back in is pretty positive then, right? So you just play him. Mohamed, 31 months. Gravenberch, João Pedro to Xhaka and Mateta. Yes. Lucas Paquetá for João Maria from Spurs. Is it worth it? Huh? João Maria from Spurs. I don't even know who that might be. I'd say probably not. João Maria. I don't even know who that's like spell checking to. João Pedro and Kudus to Welbeck and Sarr -8. No. I have a Steven Van der Ven, no money and 1 free transfer roll. Yeah, you could just play Van der Ven if you have to. It's actually Yorkresh, Guiu and Gabriel versus João Pedro, Mateta and Gabriel. Yeah, but with the Guiu one, you're not playing him, right? So there's obviously something else there. I mean, honestly, João Pedro, Mateta and Gabriel probably better, especially if you're having to play Guiu, but presumably you're not. Hugh Andy in about 50 minutes. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to roll. I'm pretty okay with it as well. It's actually... Oh no, I've done that. 1 defender to buy for the next 3 game weeks, 5 million max. Next 3 game weeks, 5 million. Keane has got Sunderland away, Fulham at home, Man United away. I need to look up the fixtures for the next 3. 5 million, 4.5. I mean, Anderson is Wolves at home. Oh, do you know what? I think Anderson. Wolves at home, Everton away, Sunderland at home. I doubt you're going to get much better than that. But again, it's a bit risky buying him this week because you're not quite sure what he's going to do. Or I guess Richards. But then I guess there's some doubts there. Honestly, if Anderson starts the next 3 games, I think he's the best option. You could take a punt on Lacroix for 5 million. I guess if you want safety to start this week, you probably go Lacroix or maybe Richards, although there's some risk there. I quite like Anderson now. Is Gay gone up to 5 million? I would definitely buy Lacroix in that case. Gay's up to 5. I'd buy Lacroix now, I think. Isak to Voltemada, already own Mateta and Kudus to Mbeumo for -4. I'd be tempted to do that -4, yeah. Saka or Gabriel captain, what's my thoughts? Saka, I think. I'm just not... I can't get on board fully with captain and defenders, I'm afraid. Van Dijk to Timber for a hit locks me out. I wouldn't take a hit to remove Van Dijk. I know he's been bad, but he's not that bad. Who to bench this week? Kudus or Semenyo? Kudus, I think. Play Xhaka or Reinders. I'm going to say Reinders. Apart from Dunk and a double. No, that was Duffy, right? How long do I what? The humming is why I can't watch the stream. Sorry, Evan Nielsen or Yorkresh? Come on. That's not a serious question, right? Evan Nielsen might not start City away. Yorkresh Burnley. I know Yorkresh has been terrible, but still. How's the dog? She's doing good. I don't know if I said, but she had some slight issues, but actually in the end it just turned out to be she got like a thyroid problem. So now she just takes tablets every day, and it's like I don't think we didn't realize how bad she'd got until she started taking the tablets, and now it's like a reminder of like how much energy that dog has, which is good. She's like back to normal now. She's still got a small hole in her foot though, which is taking ages to heal, but it's getting better. I'm captaining Gabriel, no fear. Nice, good luck. I don't think he's a bad captain, by the way. I just don't think he's better than Saka or Haaland or Salah. 1 transfer, Van der Ven or Chalobah to Richards or Roll. I'd be tempted to Roll. Richards is probably better than Van der Ven this week, but I don't know if it's enough to use a transfer. Bench Enzo, Reinders or Semenyo. Reinders probably. 4 free transfers, 0.3 in the bank. Want to swap Porro to Mateta. I'm guessing that's João Pedro. But 0.1 short. Have Yorkresh, Semenyo, Hall. Is that Lewis Hall or Dewsbury Hall? Reinders, Bruno, Paquetá. What's the second move? Well, if that's Lewis Hall, you probably sell him to a cheaper player. Maybe Semenyo to Sarr. Maybe Semenyo to Sarr. Pope, Gabriel, Timber, Alderete, bench boost worthy. What's the bench? Okay, Xhaka, Richards, Rodon, Dubravka. I think I would be tempted to bench boost that unless you got a much better bench soon. Because I think Alderete and Richards will both start. I guess there is some risk there. So it's about whether you're willing to take that risk, but I think they will. Who's better than Mateta? I've not heard enough to convince me. Probably no one. Did the Irish celebrate Guy Fawkes at Bonfire? Not really. No, basically. Do you agree the winning prize is not that great considering how many players are involved in this game? Yes, but I guess from an FPL point of view, why would they change it, right? We still play regardless of the prize. People just love FPL. Like FPL have got it sweet. They can offer that as a prize and we still play just for the love of the game, you know? So yeah, I don't think it's I mean, I'd love a better prize. I'd love to win winning FPL would be enough. I don't even care about the prize, to be honest. Winning FPL would be insane for me, as you might imagine. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe next year. You never know. Still no mention of Bruno. Who are you? I mean, honestly, I'm telling you now, I'm not the one obsessed with Bruno. It's all the people in the comments. Would you play Joachim Anderson over Kudus and Enzo? Again, is not over Enzo. Over Kudus, maybe, if you're absolutely confident he starts. I think he will start, but I have to keep saying I cannot guarantee it. Saka or Yorkresh, captain, please. Saka for me. I'll take the penalties. Take the penalties. Although, you know, once Yorkresh is on his brace today, will Saka give him the penalty for the third hat-trick? Maybe. Would winning FPL be a bigger milestone than getting married? No. Am I really benching Paquetá? I mean, the poll I've got up has had 8,000 votes and 51% are saying... Like, Paquetá's the third choice according to the vote. It's the third. Is Bruno probably is better than Mateta, yeah. Start 3 of these. It's a tough call. Semenyo, Reinders, Van de Ven, Kudus, João Pedro. Semenyo, João Pedro, and Kudus, probably. Salah and Kudus to Saka and Mbeumo. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I quite like that, especially if it's for free. Oh, geez, okay. I'll tell my wife you all think when an FPL is a better milestone. I think in my speech for my wedding I said something like, "This is the best day of my life." Although, I think when did we get married? 2022, I think. So it was the year I think when the World Cup was at Christmas. So I said something like, "This is the best day of my life." Although England might win the World Cup later this year, and that could change. Unfortunately, we didn't win the World Cup. Best keeper is the Sunderland keeper for me. Yeah, I don't mind that, but I actually quite like Verbruggen because of the fixtures next 10 or so. They're pretty good. Should I take a hit for Vicario for Raya? No, probably not. Play Tarkovsky or Lacroix, although Tarkovsky's not bad this week. Would you rather Voltemada in 3-4-3 or Minte? I'd prefer Voltemada over Minte, but there's a big difference in price, so I think I'd go Minte for that reason. Saka captain's good this week. I just don't think he's Haaland, that's all. Could Saka outscore Haaland? Yeah, if you want to go for it, why not? Honestly, why not? Caicedo or João Pedro to start? João Pedro, I think. Evan Nielsen or Stack? Oof. I guess I'd risk Evan Nielsen, but they're both probably not starting. I mean, Stack... I don't think Stack is like banished from the team. I think he actually did have a bit of an injury, so maybe he does come back in. I don't know. Who's more like... Stack's not injured. Evan Nielsen has been injured. I don't know. I feel like I'd risk Evan Nielsen. Is Yorkresh a good captain pick? It doesn't feel great, if I'm honest. Arsenal clean sheet? Probably. Yeah, they usually do. Am I still thinking about rolling those 2 free transfers? I think so, yes, because ultimately I'm not convinced about the moves as everyone else is. I don't mind the Van Dijk to a cheap defender like Keane and then Reinders up to side. I don't hate it, and it would give me basically I'd roll next week. And then in game week 12 I'd have 2 free transfers, so I could still get Saka in if I wanted to. So I don't hate it, but next week I could sell Yorkresh instead and get in Mbeumo and Sarr for Reinders and Dewsbury Hall and just keep Paquetá for Burnley at home and keep Van Dijk as well. Too late to get Haaland, aiming for Salah from 12. Not too late, no. No, not too late to get Haaland. In case of a penalty, who will take it? Probably Saka. Reinders or Goodmanson? Reinders. I don't have any Arsenal attackers. Am I in trouble? Probably not. Minte or Anderson? Minte. Would you sell Reinders to Minte? Possibly, yeah. I mean, if I had a bit more money in the bank, I'd be tempted by that, yeah. Seriously tempted. Can you please explain to me what's with the Haaland price? Because when I try and transfer him out, it's 14.4. I want to buy him, it's 14.8. Yeah, you only... So every time a player goes up in price by 0.2 million, you get 0.1 million to spend. If Paquetá gets a penalty, you're going to hate yourself for benching him. Sure, but I mean, you can always say those things about everyone, right? If I bench Reinders and he scores a goal, that's also going to be quite annoying, right? Reinders or Calvert-Lewin start? Probably Calvert-Lewin. Best Reinders and Evan Nielsen replacements. Mateta and Sarr, probably. Or Mateta and Bruno Fernandes. Mateta and Saka. Mateta and Saka, but money-wise, probably Mateta and Sarr in and around those kind of prices. Best captain, Jean-Philippe or Mateta. Your philosophy has always played a penalty. Yeah, I know, but it feels a bit different when the penalty take is rubbish. I don't know. I've put a poll up. It's nearly on 9,000 votes, and Reinders is still winning, 51%. By the way, people in the vote, the vote have put Paquetá below Dewsbury Hall. So am I crazy? Why have the leaks completely dried out? In the past, it's always had some leaks. What changed? I don't know. I guess people stopped sharing leaks. Sarr or Njai? Sarr. Missed my previous. Philippe, did I? Let me see. Oh, hang on a sec now. I've got to try and find it. Been a busy morning, honestly. I mean, it must have been quite a while ago. I can't see it, honestly. There's so many there. How long ago did you post it? Was it in blue or was it in green? I can't see it, honestly. I don't know if it was like miles at the start of the stream or something. I honestly, I've scrolled almost all the way back to the top, and I just do not see anything there. But there's so many, I could be wrong. It's like Kudus or Strand Larson. Wolves have got... They're away, aren't they? Oh, for Fulham. Kudus, I think. Chaz, 36 months, 3 years. Nice. Start Reinders or Enzo. Enzo. Also, bench order good. Reinders, Senesi, King. I'd maybe go Reinders, King, Senesi, but I mean, probably not going to matter. Back four, currently Gabriel, Timber, Minoz, Anderson looks good. Salah and João Pedro for Sarr and Haaland, then reversing 12. If you've got the transfers, sure. But either way, that's probably a good move. Is it worth holding wildcard till AFCON if you have no problem with your team? Yeah. Yeah. If you've got no problems, you don't need to wildcard. Don't wildcard. Welbeck or Thiago? Honestly, because of fixtures, probably Welbeck right now. But longer term, I guess I trust Thiago a little bit more. Just because, I don't know, Welbeck's already been benched a few times this season. Play King or Senesi? I'd probably risk King in that situation. Oh, wait. One look. Didn't get your advice, Van Dijk to Gabriel. Yeah, I said I wouldn't sell him for -4. What are the differences and advantages of wildcard 12 versus 13? 12, basically, you're getting onto Liverpool straight away for their good fixtures. 13 is if you've got a lot of Chelsea and Arsenal and you want to sell them before they play each other, basically. That's roughly it. I mean, Man City's fixtures turn in 13 rather than 12 as well. You're also a bit closer to Newcastle's fixture swing. But I think 12 looks pretty good. There's a lot of teams with good fixtures in 12. I think most people will go 12 rather than 13 in the end. Honestly, I've looked ahead to my Game Week 12 team and it just looks really good. It doesn't have Salah, which is maybe not great, but outside of that, it looks really good. 4-4-2, I think I'm going to be playing in Game Week 12 and Game Week 14. Like in Game Week 12, I might be benching Lacroix for Wolves away. Like that's how good the rest of the defenders are. And I think a lot of people will be in a similar spot if they got like double Arsenal and Anderson, etc. And Senesi. Start 2 of Van der Ven, Reinders, Guiu, Goodmanson, Senesi. Probably Reinders and Van der Ven. Start King versus Wolves or Dewsbury. I'd risk King, I think. Bench 1 of Enzo, Thiago, Semenyo. Thiago? Would you still go Sarr over Njai even if you have Mateta already? Yes, I would. Yeah, I'm not really worried about whether I've got Mateta or not in that situation. By the way, because there's so many good games at 3 today, or let me rephrase, because there's quite a few important FPL games at 3, I'm going to stay on until we get the team sheets, I think. You know, does Anderson start? Does Saliba start, I guess? Does Richard start? It's quite interesting this week. So I'm going to stay on until 1:45. And then I'm going to go and have some lunch and look forward to the Bruno Fernandes show later on. Play Goodmanson or Senesi. Goodmanson. Play 1 Paquetá or Dewsbury Hall or Goodmanson. Thoughts? Probably Paquetá out of those. Yeah. Would you take a points hit to do Bowen to Mateta? Probably not. Oh, people keep saying about Paquetá. Just play Paquetá. He's the guy on penalties. Oh, I don't know. The thing is, I was thinking about playing Paquetá over. I was thinking about playing Paquetá over Reinders, but then Luke's convinced me that, well, he's not tried to convince me, he's just given me his opinion, that Reinders is going to start and that Nico Gonzalez is probably going to start as well. Maybe I just bench Semenyo. Maybe I just do that. Oh, God, imagine actually posting a team with Paquetá and Reinders and Semenyo on the bench. I don't think I could do that. They have to get the ball into the Newcastle end to get a penalty. Exactly. I've watched West Ham. They are at home, though. If it was away, it'd be no contest. Can you tell us which game week Mbeumo will leave for AFCON? Most players are going to be leaving. Like, basically, they'll play game week 16 and then they'll be off from game week 17 onwards. That's likely to be the case for most players. Man United reaches out to you and proposes a deal. Bruno makes a guest appearance on your stream, but you have to transfer him out and can't bring him back in anymore to the end of the season deal. Yeah, of course. Of course. I'd love to get Fernandes on the stream. Bruno, if you're watching, love to get you on. He's not watching, by the way. He's preparing for his brace today. 5 free transfers out. João Pedro, Gyökeres, Reinders, Xavi, Tarkowski in. Voltemana, Mateta, Mintasar, Timber. Triple Arsenal defense. Triple Arsenal defense is fine. Again, right, can some of those moves be done? Like, could you do João Pedro to Mateta, Xavi to Minte, and Reinders to Sarr? Because if you could do 3 moves and keep Gyökeres and Tarkowski this week, that seems better to me. If you need the money, then fair enough. But if you can delay it, great. Yeah, Reinders, maybe another 59th minute sub like before, or maybe it's a 75-minute sub like against Villa and Brentford. Who knows? 90-minute penalty man versus 59-minute CDM. But this is the thing, right? He's only played 58 minutes, by the way, not 59. If you're going to be smart, right, it's 58. He's only done that once. The 2 games either side was 75, and he's probably not going to play as a DM today because Nico Gonzalez is fit now. I don't know. Look, if you wanted to play Paquetá over Reinders, I get it. I've thought about it myself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I switch. Maybe I switch. Maybe this is the type of game for Reinders. Exactly, it's West Ham. That's the problem. If I theoretically have copied your team the whole time, why don't I now have budget by 0.3 for Mateta from Evan Nilsson? Because theoretically, I went on Sunday and got ahead of the curve, basically. On wildcard, so I got in before the last 2 price rises. The other 0.1, I don't know. Start João Pedro or Semenyo. Semenyo, I think. On wildcard, Petrovic and Munoz or Pope and Lacroix. I think Pope and Lacroix might be better longer term. Rice and Munoz or Gordon and Calafori. Rice and Munoz, I think. Think. There is something nice about getting a penalty from a guy that's like just played terrible the whole game. But Reinders might be more interesting to watch. Oh, I don't know. Paquetá did get subbed early recently, didn't he? Oh no, he just plays 90 every game actually. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe I play Paquetá. He almost talked himself into a red card last game. George, thank you. Would you hold Foden for 1 more week or go Sarr or Enzo and use the funds to upgrade defence with Munoz or Timber? Yeah, if you can get in a really good defender as well, I'd be tempted to downgrade to Sarr. But if you're not really worried about the defender this week, then Foden's okay for 1 more week. I don't think Reinders will play deep, by the way. Nico Gonzalez is almost certainly going to start. João Pedro Reinders to Welbeck Sarr in 2 out of 3 transfers, or to Mateta and Minter in 3 out of 3. I'd just get Mateta in, I think. Plus Botman to Achimpong or Rodon and bring Mateta in next week. I'd be tempted just to do it now, honestly. Start 2 of Njai, João Pedro, Mukiele. Again, Mukiele ahead of João Pedro I kind of like, but I think if it was me, I'd probably play the attackers. Dewsbury Hall for Mbeumo or Sarr. Sarr's probably better value, to be honest. Henderson to Raya or to do João Pedro to Mateta. Henderson to Raya to do João Pedro to Mateta. I'm guessing that's Raya to Henderson, right? I'd probably just roll. Give me the FPL win. Why not? Want Timber, sell Burn, Senesi or Richards. Burn, I think. Out of those. Start João Pedro or Semenyo. Less than 15 minutes till the deadline, by the way. Make sure to get your moves in. Okay, let's end this poll. You've hated watching Paquetá over. I know, but it's not been that much fun watching Reinders either, if we're honest. 10,000 votes, by the way. Oh. Used to know. Doom. Paquetá, Dewsbury Hall, Kudus, Reinders, bench 1. Dewsbury Hall, I think. Because you might have a worse midfield than me. Reinders or Guiu? I would go Reinders, I think. Start Paquetá, 1 penalty is all it takes. Oh, I'm going to ask Luke. Let's see what Luke says. I think... Oh, no, actually, he said yesterday. Oh, no, he's already answered yesterday. He said, guess I go Paquetá for the penalties, but I won't say what he says after that. I won't read out what he says. Praz said Reinders. Luke said Paquetá. But he did also say something afterwards where he wasn't quite so sure. He could miss the penalty, imagine that. You've been so anti-Reinders. I know, I wish I'd never bought him. Although I think he was not a bad option in Game Week 6. Start Welbeck, Gay or Reinders. You've got to start Welbeck if you've got him. You got to. Start two of these. Pedro Porro, Van de Ven, Senesi. The two Spurs players. How did your midfield get this bad? Well, because I went big in defence, basically. So, seems fine. Bowen to Voltamala for free. No, probably not. Paquetá does like a yellow card. Yeah, I think Nico Gonzalez will play. Luke does as well, and I trust Luke on that. Bench 1. Njai, Enzo, Pedro, Porro, Munoz. Porro out of those. Reinder's always going to struggle to return in a Haaland-based lineup. I mean, he didn't struggle game week 1. Or when he assisted Haaland against Arsenal. He did. There was a game where I watched him recently. It might have been the game where he got subbed early. Was it against Everton? Oh, against Brentford or Everton, he did. I can't remember now. He did have some good chances. I think it was the Everton game. I don't know. Wild card. Calafiori and Leno / Petrovic or Raya and Anderson. Probably Raya and Anderson, honestly, long term. Real Christmas tree or fake plastic one? We got a fake one. Paquetá has done well against Newcastle in the past. Has he? I can probably search that. Paquetá record versus Newcastle. A goal and 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 appearances against them, apparently. Yeah. 1 goal, 1 assist, apparently. No penalties. Where is the goals and assists? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Njai or Enzo or both and bench Van de Ven or Burn. Bench Van de Ven and both. No leaks, no rumours that I've seen. Captain Saka or Haaland. Haaland for me, but Saka's pretty good. What leaks do people want? Richards and Anderson, I guess. Probably not going to get them. Start 1. João Pedro, Reinders, Reinildo or Senesi. 1. João Pedro, probably. I'll just see if Marco Silva... No, not been on to me. Annoying me. What do you think about Captain Gordon? Don't like it. No more news from the Barbers. Well, I think we've already had the news from the Iriola, right? Said he trained. I think that's actually what the guy said. I think he said that Evan Nilsson's been... Yeah, he's back for the City game. It's basically what Iriola said. As a Newcastle fan, I'm more worried about you starting Paquetá than anything Paquetá might do. I mean, Newcastle have been defending really well as well. Look, we'll see. We'll see. Worst case scenario, Paquetá scores a penalty, and at least I've still got Reinders to come. It'd be worse if Reinders had already blanked, and then I saw Paquetá score a penalty. Bench Kudus, Grealish, or Enzo. Kudus, I think, for them. I really need to pee. I don't know if I can hold out to the deadline, but I'm going to have to try. I should probably just stop drinking liquid. That would help. I'm still debating Saka captain over Haaland. Yeah, there's not really much more I can say on it. I think Burnley on paper is the better fixture, but it's away. Saka and Haaland both on penalties. Haaland at home is very strong. It's hard to know, really. I think it's probably Haaland for me just because he's at home. If Haaland was away, I'd definitely go Saka. Probably heard it many times, but it could be the week to go against Haaland captain. I wonder how many people would have said that if Haaland had scored last week, by the way. Gabriel, Saka and Mateta could do better to climb ranks. Sure, but if Haaland outscores them, the rank just goes down, right? I don't know. It's Haaland for me, but if you want to go against him, why not? Bench one out of Gay, Joachim Anderson, Semenyo, or Enzo. For safety, probably Anderson, but if they're all going to start, Gay, I think. I think this is an okay week to go against Haaland if you want to do it. I look at Haaland versus Bournemouth record and I go against him. Yeah, go for it. I wouldn't take a hit for Porro to Timber, as good as Arsenal are. On Richards, Crystal Palace official Twitter just posted a photo of him with the caption, Chris Richards has arrived. Nice. He's arrived to sit on the bench, has he? Oh yeah, he looks ready for the bench. He's fine, probably. Isidore, or so basically bench one of Isidore, Semenyo and Reinders is another way of putting it. I would probably bench Reinders out of those, I think. If team is not an issue, Salah to Bruno and Mbeumo or Saka. Money, I guess. Saka. Last minute sell Bruno for Mbeumo. Probably not unless you're absolutely desperate for the money. Haaland is a YouTuber now, not a Premier League striker. Sa or Mbeumo, no hit. Sa. Would you captain Saka if you had him? I guess I'd be considering it, but I suspect I would still go with Haaland. Would you recommend starting De Kuiper over Munoz? No. Not in a million years. Even if you told me De Kuiper is definitely going to start and play 90 minutes, there's not many games you're going to want to bench Munoz for. Like, not many whatsoever. Thoughts on the best three forwards on wildcard? Mateta, Haaland and Guiu, probably. Burn to Timber or Senesi to Calafiori. Burn to Timber, I think. Should I captain Nick Voltemada over Haaland? Probably not. Who would you play? Pick two. Thiago, Lacroix, Van de Ven or Reinders? Thiago and Lacroix probably, but they're playing against each other, which is not great. Does kickoff time affect your choice of captain? No, it shouldn't do. I mean, sometimes maybe subconsciously it plays a part, but not usually. To be honest, usually I've picked my captain ahead of time before I even know what time the matches are on. Like, I knew I was going to captain Haaland. It wasn't until yesterday that I realised they're the half-4 game. Or at least it wasn't until yesterday that I was reminded they're on half-4. Bench one in Enzo, Semenyo. I'm going to say Semenyo. Reinders to Minte or Saar -4. Nah, just play Reinders, I think. Bench one Tarkowski, Mukiele, Enzo or Njai. Oof. Tarkowski? Which is kind of horrible. It's brave to go without Liverpool players, don't you think? I mean, I've got Van Dijk. So, you know, I'm not a brave kind of guy. Have you got a plan for your free hit? I'm thinking free hit 13, but I've hardly heard anyone talk about it, so I don't know whether I'm the only one I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking about it, but I've not seen much conversation around it. But yeah, if there's no blanks, no doubles, I'm strongly considering 13. Basically, this is my rough plan. Next week I'll have 3 transfers, and either I will use them all or I'll roll. But if I roll into 12, I'll definitely use 3 or 4 that week, right? It's very unlikely I'll roll again. So basically the plan is get to 12 and have... Okay, let me rephrase. The plan is to get to 13 with 2 free transfers, free hit, have 2 free transfers in 14, not use any because the team will look good. Game week 15, I have 3 free transfers, knowing that we're going to have 5 the week after. So I'll use those 3 to start preparing for future weeks. And then from game week 16, I'll probably try and just make 1 transfer a week and just move players around. I don't know whether I'm looking forward to game week 16 or if it's a bit rubbish. I still think I'd much rather not have the 5 free transfers. I really do. I think it's a bit rubbish from FPL, but it's here now. There's not much we can do about it, so just get on board with it. So that's my rough plan. Use 3 transfers next week, or go into 12 with 4 and use 3 and roll 1. 13 free hit, 14 roll, game week 15. Use my 3 free transfers. Figure out who needs to come in for 60 and onwards. That's it. And by the way, I've already looked at what my transfers could be in 15. It could be something like Sar to Gordon, maybe Mateta to Voltamada, possibly get Minte in, maybe change a defender. And then in game week 16, it would probably be Mbeumo to Cunha. And then roll 4 transfers to game week 17. And then in 17, use 1 transfer, roll 4 transfers to game week 18. I don't know. It's going to be quite boring, I think. That's the difference between the most serious player and the rest, the future planning. I'm more of a reactive player, but I wish I wasn't. Honestly, I think I said this to someone this morning. I think it's actually a bit of a flaw. I sometimes struggle if I don't know what I'm going to do with the player longer term. And I probably focus way too much on future weeks. I should not be looking at what moves I'm making in game week 16. Honestly, it's just a complete waste of time, I think. It's handy to know that a player is going to be good for the long term, but I probably overdo it sometimes. I mean, I guess I've got an excuse to overdo it, but yeah, I probably do overdo it. Bench Semenyo or Isidore, probably Isidore. Bench Xhaka or Reinders, probably Xhaka. Start Van Dijk or Reinders, probably Van Dijk. Start Thiago or Caicedo, probably Thiago. Whew, less than 2.5 minutes to the deadline, by the way. Start getting locked in. I'm locked in, by the way. See, 67% saying Reinders. That is because a lot of people own Reinders, by the way. Well, I'm locked in. I'm locked. I'm rolling my other 2 transfers. I don't care that you all hate it. I know you hate it. You don't have to tell me. I know I should have Sar. I don't have Sar. I'm going to hope for the best. Hopefully Reinders can outscore Sar. Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm going to play a back 4. If Anderson misses out, I've got Paquetá to come on, which is horrible. And I'm captain in Haaland. And my vice captain's on Mateta. Maybe it should be on Yorkresh. Maybe I should just target Burnley. I don't know. Paquetá always scores the week after he's linked away. Strange, but he does. Oh, come on. Don't be telling me stuff like that. Don't be telling me stuff like that. Doku is in the starting lineup. According to who? According to who? Saving transfer for what? Next week? Week after? Basically, I want it. My long-term thinking is it's better for me to sell Yorkresh to free up money than Van Dijk. That's it. That's the main reason I don't want to upgrade Reinders this week, because I'd have to sell Van Dijk or Semenyo. I don't really want to do it. And I don't really want to sell Semenyo anyway, so basically it's Van Dijk. So I could do Van Dijk to Keane and Reinders to Sar, or I could do Van Dijk to someone else, a different 4.5. But I just don't want to. Andy always prefers to have free transfers, right? Yeah, it's the same nonsense that people said last year. Like, I will use my transfers at some point. Like, people always act like this is the only week where the points matter. All that matters is your rank at the end of the season. So let's see. And maybe it'll be a massive mistake to roll 2 transfers in game week 10. Maybe rolling 2 transfers in game week 10 will be the biggest mistake I make all season. But it probably won't be. Bruno Fernandes to Mbeumo to get Mateta. I don't hate it, but I'd prefer to find a different way. Who knows? Maybe I'll look back on this and rolling 2 transfers in game week 10. Maybe it will be the worst decision I ever make in FPL. Could be. People are going to hate it when I roll next week, by the way. When I've got Dewsbury Hall in my lineup. There we go. We're locked in. We are locked in. Rolled me transfers. 3 next week. Let's go. Do you have a hang up on banking free transfers? Do you have a hang up on like them having to be used? Like I don't have a hang up. I just want to make moves that I think are good, and I don't think the moves this week are good, so I'm just rolling a transfer or 2. I'd take a Gordon return for once. Oh, come on, Yorkresh got to give me a hat trick, surely. Surely. Oh look, nonsense benching stuff. Gabriel captain, nice. What are we doing for game week 11? Probably roll him. Probably roll him. Is Reinders actually going down in price tomorrow? That'd be annoying. Exactly. I have made a transfer. That's a great point, Will. I'm glad someone's paying attention. I haven't rolled all my transfers. I've literally made a transfer on Sunday, by the way. Right, like that's the annoying thing about next week. I think there's going to be some pressure price wise. I think Yorkresh could go down if he blanks. Reinders could go down again. You know, and Mbeumo, Saka going to be going up in price probably. It's just annoying. I might get priced out. Well, I won't get. So one of the moves I'm thinking about is Yorkresh, Reinders, and Dewsbury Hall to Giu, Mbeumo, and Sar. I've got like 0.7 million spare for that, so it should be fine. But I could also get Saka and Minte. But I wouldn't want to get... Yeah, I won't get into that, but I could do that as well. Locked in Marmouche captain. Wow. Interesting. You look forward to these streams every week. I'm glad to hear that, genuinely. I'm glad you enjoyed them every week. Right, I am going to stay live, by the way, until the team sheets come out at 1:45 because there's some quite interesting... There's some quite interesting team news, I think. Like, as in, there's some... Like, Will Richards start for Palace, Will Anderson start for Fulham. So I'm going to stay on until 1:45, but I've got to pee. I've got to go to the loo. So I will be back in a second. And yes, I will wash my hands. I will wash my hands. Back in a sec. I better mute just in case you hear stuff. I'm back. I'm back. Hi, chair. Love your streams. I need to get a new chair, but I really want to get a Herman Miller chair. Is it Herman Miller, I think? Might treat myself to a new chair. Help me back out. You couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me. We're literally watching a chair. Welcome to the internet in 2025. Am I planning for Palmer in late? Honestly, I've got no intentions to buy Palmer anytime soon. There's just no point worrying about it because we don't know when he's going to be back. We don't know what his minutes are going to be like. I just don't think he's going to be an option anytime soon. I really don't. Because the thing with Palmer is you're going to have to... you're going to need to see a few games before you're even confident to captain him. He's so much money. So much money. Okay, I'm just going to tweet this out a sec. That I'm staying live. Staying live till team sheets are out. What's happened to fantasy? It's updating. The deadline's gone. Yeah, the Herman Miller chair. We used to have them when I worked at EA. I think you can get second-hand ones that are a lot cheaper. I'm sure they were Herman Miller. We used to, when I worked at EA, we used to have them. Oh my god, they were so good. They were so comfy. Yeah, it was the Aeron ones, I think. Herman Miller Aeron. That's what I want. It's just so expensive. I don't know if I can justify it. But I sit on it so much, you know? Could you give yourself some FIFA points? Nope. Unfortunately not. Do. Why don't I do a watch along? Yeah. Yeah, watch along wouldn't be bad, but it means I've got to stream for another 2 hours. And I've not got the stream set up properly for the I've not got the stream set up properly for for the scores and stuff. Actually, what I'd prefer is to have a standing desk, or like one day I might get like a desk I can put up and down. So I can standing up streaming would be quite good, I think, for the deadline streams. How do you find the new upcoming expansion of WoW? I've not played it yet, but I suspect I will. Yeah, those chairs are really expensive. They are really expensive. It's hard to justify it, but it's tempting because like it will last for years and years and years. Yeah, I don't know. This chair's fine, to be honest. We'll see. What's your career history? Have you planned your working life like your FPL moves? Hell no. I basically do a job until I want to do a better, not a better job, but a different job. You haven't posted your team on Twitter. Yeah, I'll do it later. I'll let the chaos of the team sheets go out first, and then I'll just do it. For fixture difficulty, have you reevaluated difficulty based on the first 9 game weeks? Sunderland no longer an easy fixture, etc. If not, when? That's the thing, right? It's difficult to know exactly when you do that, because are Sunderland just a really good defense, or are they a pretty good defense that's had really good fixtures? Like, I think on some graphics, I've changed the Sunderland away game to like a light green rather than this is a really easy fixture green. But that's about all I would do. I'm not going to put Sunderland away like same difficulty as Chelsea away yet. And I appreciate Sunderland just beat Chelsea away, etc. But still. Oh, what did I do at EA? Oh, a bunch of stuff. I started off as a games master for Star Wars: The Old Republic, or I was basically like just did in-game stuff. Then I moved to basically I did 3 main jobs, but like there's a few different things within the so like it was a games master for in-game stuff. Then that changed to in-game and on the phones, which I hated. Like tech support and billing, I hated that. So as soon as I could get out of that, I went to like the customer relations team, which is like dealing with like legal stuff or high-profile people, or just I don't know, just like edge cases, stuff that's a bit weirder than the normal stuff. And then I moved to the community team, where I started having to manage Battlefield forums. But then I basically did everything I could to work on FIFA instead. And then by the end of it, I was like running the FIFA forums essentially. What game are you most excited about this weekend? Man United versus Nottingham Forest, of course. Reinders TV show got cancelled in episode 1. Why do you still have him? Just I never owned him in Game Week 1 or 2 or 3. I got him in 6. Does it pay well? What? EA? I mean, when I joined, it was much better than what I was getting at Curry's. That's for sure. Nike Air Max or a Jordan jacket for a kid's Christmas present? I don't know. Raya, Gabriel, Captain, Timber. A Burnley goal is genuinely a season ender. It's not a season ender, but it will hurt. We'll be watching AI and Andy. You'll be chilling in bed. Nah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't know. Never say never, I guess. But I think the idea that we're going to all like people don't want to watch AI videos. I don't think. I really don't. Not really. I mean, I get that like studios and stuff when they're making movies, they will use AI to make the movies, and obviously maybe for animations and stuff, it's different. But like when I click on a YouTube channel, I want to watch a person. Not an AI person, you know? Do I still work at EA? No. I haven't worked at EA now for over 6 years. Interestingly. Time has flown. Time has absolutely flown. Did you celebrate Halloween? No, I turned the lights off, closed the blinds, and disconnected the doorbell. to be honest with you. Triple captain on Mateta, trust me. Good luck. Why not Dewsbury Hall over Reinders? Just better fixture. Well, yeah, this is the thing. Is Bournemouth at home better than Sunderland? I don't know, but I think Reinders is... I don't know. I just think Reinders is probably more likely to score a goal than Dewsbury Hall, but who knows? They both scored one this season. That could be nonsense. Who do we think gets sent off in the Spurs-Chelsea match? I mean, definitely a Chelsea player. Definitely a Chelsea player. They're very good at it these days. How did you get the EA job? Did you need a qualification? No, it was just like customer service, essentially, is what I started in. Did I need a qualification? To be honest, they were... I wouldn't say they were desperate for people, but they were... At the time I applied, they were trying to hire a lot of people. So it didn't take much, I don't think, to get in. But I already had like lots of customer service experience and stuff. I like games, etc. So yeah, when I got in, I was quite lucky. I think they were trying to employ a lot of people. Not saying they just employed anyone. I don't want to put myself down too much, but yeah, no qualifications. And I applied for like how many? I think I applied for a few different roles in there, and I got 2 of them, 3, I guess technically. There was one I applied for I didn't get, I think, but I can't remember what that was. In the end, it all worked out. So I actually applied for a job at a different company at one point. Another gaming company in Galway. Got rejected. It was a bit of a weird interview because I applied for a job and he started interviewing me for like a team manager job, which is not what I applied for. I was like, he's like, what have you done to like try and get a team manager? Like, have you read any books? I was like, no, I've read no books. I've read no books about management because it's not what I want to do. What did I do at Curry's? Just sales, really. I hated it. I hated it by the end. It was fun to start with when I was like 16. Were you nervous going full time with FPL? Yeah, a little bit, but I kind of knew it was going to work out okay. I knew it wasn't going to be terrible. At least I knew it was worth the risk. Get to 500,000 subscribers. EA might get you to turn on their Christmas lights. You never know. You never know. What was the decision to move to Galway? For the job. I really didn't want to work at Curry's anymore, and someone I knew was working at EA, and I was like, I'd like to work at EA. It was actually BioWare at the time. Like when I moved, it was specifically for BioWare to work on Star Wars The Old Republic. The whole building was just Star Wars The Old Republic. But in the end, that game just wasn't big enough to warrant having a whole building dedicated to it. So that's when EA's customer service in Europe basically became the Galway building. Sad how people hate jobs they spend most of their lives doing. I've been pretty lucky, I think. I've always tried to move. Like, I loved the job I did when I first went there. Like I said, in-game stuff on Star Wars The Old Republic. But as soon as like we got moved to having to do billing stuff as well, I started looking for other stuff then. Excuse me, shouldn't cough on stream. And so that's why I really wanted to get on the customer relations team. And then I enjoyed that for a bit, but then it was like, this isn't as good as it was. And I want to get onto community stuff. There's no phone calls. I just didn't want to be on the phone. I hated it. So it was like, right, I like communities. I'd like to be a community manager. Let me do that. So I went and did that. No, I've not been running for ages. Just walking in the gym. Oh, the lineups are out. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Ruben, unnamed. Mbeumo starts. That means Cunha starts as well. And Fernandez. Strand Larson starts. Okay, but where's Joachim Anderson? Come on. Captains Fulham. Josh King also starts, by the way. Raul Jimenez starts. Saliba starts. Okay. I'm going to tweet this. And King start for Fulham. As does... I need to cough again. What about Brighton? Does Welbeck start? Is there anyone that's benched that's interesting? I hate the order that Brighton put their team out. Welbeck, Minto start. Is there anyone that doesn't start? No, Saliba does start. Saliba's starting for Arsenal. Doesn't look like there's any surprises. I don't think there's any surprises. Honestly. Oh, what's the Palace one? Does Richard start for Palace? I can't see the Palace lineup. Chris Wood doesn't start, by the way. I can't see the Palace lineup. Chuanzebe starts again, by the way. People are saying that Richard starts, but I don't see the lineup anywhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Munoz, Richards, Lacroix, Gay, Mitchell. It's basically the same team as always. Sam, Pino. Yeah, it's basically the same team. It doesn't look like there's anything. Doesn't look like there's any. Yeah, Saliba is starting. Arsenal are basically what you would expect. I think pretty much every team. Oh, I just see the teams on Twitter. I think every team is exactly what you would expect, pretty much. Yeah, everyone starts. That's pretty much it. Everybody that you think should start, starts. Okay, yeah, Wharton doesn't start because he's ill, but we knew that, right? We knew that. Although I didn't put that in the video yesterday. I probably should have, just in case anyone's holding Wharton. Okay. Oh, Joachim Anderson. You've honestly, Joachim. Now maybe it'll end up really bad. Yeah, Saliba is in the lineup. That's what I said. Saliba starts. That was like one of the first things I said. Honestly, Joachim Anderson making a return in game week 10 has changed my life, I think. Changed my life. Sorry, I'm making this bigger for the screenshot. So it's clearer. It just meant that I didn't have to start 2 of Paquetá, Reinders and Dewsbury Hall. Time to sell. Oh, did Stack? Oh, Stack. Interesting, sorry. Hang on. Foster not in the squad for Burnley. Yeah, Stack benched again. Stack's got to go. Rubbish pick, honestly. Now. Mosquera doesn't start. Would you stop saying that? It's Saliba. It's Saliba. I just checked the lineups on Twitter. The official accounts always tweet the lineup, so I just checked there. I'm not got like some special app. Yeah, your crash starts, of course. Always does. Plays 90 minutes every game. All right, I'm gonna shoot off soon because I want to have lunch and I want to get ready for the Man United game. You know, watch the Bruno Fernandes show. Bruno does start, yeah. Game. I'm going to tweet now. Game week 10 locked. Gabriel assured clean sheet. We'll see. We'll see. Be funny if Burnley score. Is this the first time in your FPL career that you started 4 centre-backs? I played 4 at the back a few weeks ago. I went terrible. It was just as everyone was... I did it in like game week 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. Winding. Next week. Why aren't you captaining Fernandes? I might do. I might do in game week 12, might do in game week 14. Probably won't, but might do. Okay, I'm shooting off. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, sorry, there was a super chat someone put in. Alderete and Caicedo to Munoz and Xhaka next week. Next week? Maybe, yeah. I'd love to free up some money to... My team now, 129k. Raya, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Alderete, Mukiele, Senesi, Brian and Mbeumo, Bruno, Sarr, Semenyo. Yeah, there's not much you can do with that team. If you've bench boosted, you could get rid of Thiago to give you more money to get someone better than Xhaka, but otherwise I quite like it. Anyway, we'll talk about it next week. There might be injuries and stuff that could happen. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be on Twitter moaning all weekend about how badly my team is doing again. You're a melt, mate. I mean, you're the one watching someone they don't want to watch on Saturday afternoon. That's a bit weird, right? You think like you just spend your time doing something interesting. Anyway, like that's interesting to you, I mean. Wonderwall, yes it is. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. I will be back on Sunday at 6:30. 6:30. There's only one game on Monday, but we'll definitely stream before that. And yeah, I'm off. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you again soon.